Jharkhand Chief Minister's meeting with the Prime Minister. Congress calls a key meeting in Jharkhand on the 4th of December. Is there a realignment on the cards? As the power tussle continues, Siddaramaiah, the Karnataka Chief Minister, meets the Congress High Command, says will step down if asked to by Rahul Gandhi. And the most extensive coverage on Putin's visit to New Delhi, Republic and Sputnik of Russia, keeping you ahead on all breaking news updates. And ladies and gentlemen, the big story, largely unreported, the Indian rupee has plummeted to an unprecedented low. Today, it's now breached the significant 90 rupees per dollar mark for the first time in history by depreciating. Fallen 6 paise today to 90.02 in early trade. That means $1 costs 90 rupees. And this was this morning when it crossed the 90 barrier. And the fall comes even as banks keep buying US dollars at higher levels. Some of the factors that have contributed, including higher levels of FII outflows, which continue amid a rush by companies to hedge against weaknesses in the currency. I have Pranav joining us live from the Republic Business Newsroom. Pranav, US trade deal also one of the factors. Why don't you take our viewers through the implications of this now? Pranav.
Well, Niranjan, the rupee has fallen 5.3% this year. I mean, this is in fact the steepest annual decline since 2022. Analysts are saying that the various factors include that the central bank has not in fact intervened. If you remember, there's an RBI monetary policy that is slated to begin, and there are expectations that the rate cut is not likely to be revised. So, yes, at a time when, there have been concerns about trade, there have been concerns about, the underperformance of the Indian market over the year that has gone by, the RBI not likely to intervene is being seen as a negative side by some of the traders. That is one of the reasons behind the, so to say, weak demand for rupee. Contrary to the belief that rupee hitting a low always is detrimental, it's not always so, because the Indian services and goods that are offered normally end up becoming cheaper, as a result of which it helps the Indian economy in terms of the inflow of the rupee because of the dollar gaining strength.
Yes. Now, implications of this, Pranav, what will be impacted in the short term?
The implementation is clearly that, the Indian goods and services that are offered abroad, they end up becoming cheaper, as a result of which there is more demand for that, as a result of which there is more inflow. So in the end, it helps the Indian economy because there is more inflow of dollars in this case. So that's the immediate implication. In the longer run, however, we need to definitely look at how it impacts, how the demand supply impacts, and the FII inflow, it definitely will be increased because of the rupee falling.
Okay, thank you for joining us with those inputs, Pranav. For the first time, rupee has breached the 90 per dollar mark. It's a record low, the lowest it's fallen so far. Getting in some breaking news now to the political update. There was a speculation on whether JMM and Hemant Soren would be breaking up with the Congress party. Is that a possibility? One of the questions being asked as top leaders of the JMM reportedly are in touch with the BJP. A JMM has responded. JMM has called the speculation baseless. There's a breaking news update coming in. A comment coming in from the JMM to the meetings that have taken place. In fact, there was a buzz after Hemant Soren met the Prime Minister along with his wife, and the Jharkhand governor as well was in the national capital meeting Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Here are some of the responses coming in. JMM says it's not happening.
जितनी मुंह उतनी बातें, किसी का मुंह तो नहीं रोका जा सकता। चर्चाएं कहां से उठती हैं, क्यों उठती हैं, परंतु कोई कारण ये बता दीजिए कि गठबंधन क्यों टूटेगा। और क्यों हम किसी दूसरे दल के साथ जाएंगे? कोई कारण तो होना चाहिए। वैसी कोई दूर दूर तक संभावना नहीं है। सरकार अपना कार्यकाल पूरा करेगी। सरकार को जनादेश इस गठबंधन को मिला है, हम उसका सम्मान करते हैं। मजबूत सरकार है, हमारे लोकप्रिय मुख्यमंत्री। मुझे नहीं लगता है कि कोई जरूरत है गठबंधन तोड़ने की। दिल्ली जाने के तो कई कारण होते हैं, व्यक्तिगत कारणें भी होती हैं, कुछ अपना व्यक्तिगत निजी जीवन भी होता है, साथ ही और भी कई काम होते हैं। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री को बहुत तरह के कार्यों से जाना पड़ता है, तो फिर अटकलबाजियां, मुझे लगता है ये बेबुनियाद अटकलबाजियां हैं, कोई इसका आधार नहीं है, निराधार बात है।
Now, there is also a meeting lined up of the Congress party. So, Prakash, what is the basis to this speculation?
Well, as far as basis is concerned, we haven't found anything concrete development as yet if the JMM is joining the NDA or not. But speculation has been rife for the past 2 weeks or so, ever since Hemant Soren has been making a visit to Delhi. And there's been a speculation, but without the smoke, there is no fire. But there would be some back-channel negotiation or last-minute arrangement that would be happening, as it happened in the case of Bihar in 2022, that the BJP was caught unawares about the political realignment between the RJD and the JDU. And despite the last-ditch effort, Nitish Kumar went to the Mahagathbandhan. If that kind of arrangement is being done and the mere posturing is being done by the JMM leaders as well as the BJP, one doesn't know. But yes, Hemant Soren is involved in large number of corruption cases. So that is one of the issues as it happened in Maharashtra, Niranjan, when Ajit Pawar switched sides overnight and he was sworn in as the deputy CM along with Devendra Fadnavis. So if that kind of history is repeated in Jharkhand as well, so we cannot rule out that that has happened in the past in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and other states as well. And as far as Hemant Soren's alignment with RJD and the Congress is concerned, he was apparently not happy in the Bihar Vidhan Sabha elections, and also there is lack of funds, shortage of funds. So he may want a double-engine government. That would be one of the issues. But as far as the leadership is concerned, all the leadership of respective parties, even the BJP, is denying it. But that has added more to the speculation is the pictures of Hemant Soren and Kalpana Soren, his wife, meeting Prime Minister, as well as Santosh Gangwar, the Jharkhand governor, meeting Union Home Minister Amit Shah. So as far as the majority is concerned, there is no doubt about the majority. Hemant Soren's JMM has 34 MLAs in the 81-member assembly, and BJP has around 24 MLAs. So they come close to around 58 MLAs, whereas the India bloc has 56 MLAs. So we'll wait and watch. We are keeping a track on the development. Hemant Soren is coming back to Ranchi today evening. Maybe thereafter some developments would take place, but in 2 days from now, the winter session of the Jharkhand Assembly is all set to begin, and it is most unlikely that things should move so fast, but we are keeping a track on the development.
Thank you for joining us with those inputs. Okay, so no movement as of now is what the JMM says. Let's keep a close watch on that. Let's move on now and get you the other big political controversy of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, a comment that was made last evening by the Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy made a comment, a loose comment, not really loose when you look at how frequently Congress makes such comments about Hindus and Hindu gods. Last evening, Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy mocked Hindus and Hindu gods with a comment to which the BJP has responded today. Listen in.
रेवंत रेड्डी ने जिस प्रकार से हिंदू देवी देवताओं के बारे में अपमानजनक, अवांछनीय कमेंट किए हैं, उसे किसी भी कीमत पर बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जा सकता। और एक तरफ ये वही मुख्यमंत्री हैं जिन्होंने अभी जुबली हिल के चुनाव में ओपनली बोला था, कांग्रेस मतलब मुसलमान, मुसलमान मतलब कांग्रेस। आपको पूरा तहे दिल से मुस्लिम समाज के साथ जाइए, कोई समस्या नहीं है। आप हम सफर, हम प्याला, हम निवाला, हम राज हो जाइए, हमें कोई समस्या नहीं है। मगर हिंदू धर्म के देवी देवताओं को गाली देंगे तो यह बर्दाश्त करने योग्य नहीं है।
देखिए, मौलाना मदनी हो या कांग्रेस पार्टी हो, दोनों के स्वर आज एक नजर आ रहे हैं। मैं तो धिक्कार शब्द से शुरू करूंगा कांग्रेस के लिए कि जिस प्रकार के शब्दों का प्रयोग तेलंगाना के मुख्यमंत्री कांग्रेस के एटीएम रेवंत रेड्डी जी ने कहा है आज हिंदू देवी देवताओं के लिए, ये न केवल आपत्तिजनक है, ये घृणक है। यह कांग्रेस पार्टी के मनसा के अंदर किस प्रकार से हिंदुओं के खिलाफ एक जहर भरा हुआ है वो दर्शाता है। रेवंत रेड्डी कहते हैं अपने एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोऑर्डिनेशन कमेटी की मीटिंग में कि यदि भगवानों के बीच ही कंसेंसस नहीं है तो हमारे बीच में कंसेंसस कैसे हो सकता है, हम कैसे कंसेंसस बना सकते हैं। यह हिंदू धर्म क्या है? ये सनातन धर्म में 3 करोड़ देवी देवताएं हैं। बैचलर के लिए हनुमान जी हैं, जो 2 शादी करते हैं उनके लिए कोई और भगवान है, कोई ऐसे भगवान है जो शराब पसंद करते हैं, कोई ऐसे भगवान है जो टॉडी पसंद करते हैं, वेजिटेरियंस दाल रोटी खाने वालों के लिए एक अलग भगवान है। ये किस प्रकार की भाषा है रेवंत रेड्डी जी? यह जो आप ट्यूशन क्लास से सोनिया गांधी जी से और राहुल गांधी से सीख के आ रहे हैं कि जाइए और हनुमान जी, मां दुर्गा, शिव जी और विष्णु जी के खिलाफ बोलिए, आपको अभी भी समझ नहीं आया? सुदर्शन चक्र चला है कांग्रेस पार्टी के ऊपर, छिन्न विच्छिन्न होकर पड़े हुए हैं, किसी भी राज्य में जीत नहीं हो रही है। जनता जनार्दन त्रिशूल चला रही है आपके ऊपर और कांग्रेस की लंका को ध्वस्त कर दिया है हनुमान जी ने। फिर भी हनुमान जी, शिव जी और विष्णु जी के खिलाफ ये जो आप जहर उगल रहे हैं रेवंत रेड्डी जी, इसका खामियाजा कांग्रेस पार्टी को भुगतना पड़ेगा।
देखिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी एक मुहिम चला रखा है हिंदुओं के खिलाफ, और जो भी इस तरह की बात बोलेगा ना वो भारत के संविधान में भरोसा रखता हो, ना वो भारत की संस्कृति से वास्ता रखता हो, वो कहीं न कहीं उसका इमोशन आक्रांताओं से, मुगल आक्रांताओं से जुड़ा रहा हो, वही व्यक्ति ऐसा बोल सकता है।
पहले भी कहा था कि कांग्रेस मुस्लिम जिनकी आप बात कर, रेवंत रेड्डी के बयान की बात कर रहे हैं, रेवंत रेड्डी पहले भी ये बयान दे चुके हैं, कांग्रेस इज मुस्लिम, मुस्लिम इज कांग्रेस।
हाँ, तो डिक्लेयर करा दे कांग्रेस पार्टी को मुस्लिम लीग कांग्रेस पार्टी।
सर, मौलाना मदनी का कहना है कि स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए।
मौलाना मदनी को किसी इस्लामिक कंट्री में जाके एक अच्छे स्पीकर के रूप में उनको भेज दिया जाए। भारत में ऐसे लोगों की जरूरत नहीं है, ये विभेद पैदा करते हैं, हिंदुओं को गाली देने का काम करते हैं, और जिहाद का यहाँ कोई जगह नहीं है। जो जिहाद की बात करे उसको कानून के शिकंजों में बंद कर देनी चाहिए।
Okay, getting into responses to that comment that was made by Revanth Reddy. Union ministers responding, quickly getting in a response from one of the union ministers, Prahlad Joshi, who has responded to what Revanth said. Listen in.
नहीं, ये लोगों को हिंदू का अपमान, हिंदू आस्था का अपमान कांग्रेस को और कांग्रेस की जो फ्रेंडली पार्टी है वो एक हैबिट बन गया है। जब भी देखो, कर्नाटक में देखो, केरल में, अभी तेलंगाना में। नहीं, ये लोगों को हिंदू का अपमान, हिंदू आस्था का अपमान कांग्रेस को और कांग्रेस की जो फ्रेंडली पार्टी है वो एक हैबिट बन गया है। जब भी देखो, कर्नाटक में देखो, केरल में, अभी तेलंगाना।
Getting in some breaking news now on the Delhi riots case. There's been a hearing underway in the Supreme Court on the bail petition specifically of Umar Khalid. Sharjeel Imam and the others that are now being heard. And as we speak, the arguments are being made inside court. Sharjeel Imam's entire video was played last week inside the courtroom. It was an 8-minute video, and hearing is on in Supreme Court as we speak on the Delhi riots case. Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid, the lawyers are trying to ensure that somehow they get bail in this particular case, but so far they have failed and the arguments continue. In the 8-minute video, Sharjeel Imam in several parts of that video is heard asking for violence, calling for Muslims to unite on the streets of India in different cities, to come out and protest in large numbers, asking for chicken's neck to be cut off. Many insightful remarks being heard. Provocative remarks by Sharjeel Imam that prove that he's nothing but a rioter. Let me go across to Rhythm Anand Bharadwaj joining us on the phone line. Rhythm, give us details of what's happening inside the courtroom now.
Just to yet start, Niranjan, but you were rightly saying not only a rioter, I would go as far as to call them a terrorist because they have been booked under the UAPA Act. The bench of Justice Arvind Kumar and N.V. Acharya had heard detailed submissions earlier from Kapil Sibal on behalf of Umar Khalid. He had begun his arguments earlier in the case, speaking about how he believed there was nothing inflammatory or communal content in what Umar Khalid's speeches had been. Today we are going to hear what Sharjeel Imam's lawyer is going to be speaking in the Supreme Court in the rejoinder arguments, after which the Delhi police's rebuttal will be there. And I think after that, the court is going to soon quickly pass its order. But like you said, the 8-minute video, the 3-minute video that has been shown in the court is very, very clear. It shows the intent of these people to cause riots. It shows them wanting not only to be anti-national, but a regime change in India. The police claim the regime change operation was there. And this regime change operation that is there in the affidavit is what is so concrete and important to understand, because not only did they want a separate regime change, the Delhi police in its clear and very aggressive stand before the Supreme Court has pointed out time and again in videos, in clear details that they have given, that these people wanted a regime change.
Okay. Rhythm, can we expect an order today in the course of the arguments? Are we expecting an order anytime soon? Because the argument has been that, it's been pushed for far too long, but given the severity of the claims and knowing what they can do if they are out, what is your sense of the way the case is proceeding?
I have been hearing and seeing this case for the past 4-5 years, Niranjan, in the Delhi High Court. Orders have been passed earlier. Whenever needed, the court has rejected the bail applications of Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam. Yet again, I believe it's the top court now that has to see this bail petition that has been filed by Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam and others. The order is expected once the hearing is complete. It's been a rather lengthy hearing, and the Delhi police has clarified time and again, specifically in the top court before the Supreme Court, the ASG, S.V. Raju has clarified any delay that is being caused is only being caused by the accused, their lawyers, and by other accused. So very crystal clear arguments that have been made in the top court of the country. Now we only have to see how far they'll go.
Okay, Rhythm, thank you for joining us with those inputs. Have to take a short break now. Coming back with more headlines and breaking news updates. At 3 p.m, we have breaking news updates and a joint broadcast with Sputnik of Russia on what you can expect when Putin lands in Delhi. Stay tuned.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर्नब मसाला
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend, on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
A big revelation made in Rajsamand, where police achieved success by seizing a pickup loaded with explosives. Reportedly, the nature of these explosives, investigators say, could have caused damage in almost a 10-kilometer radius. Now, during investigation, it was found that explosives were being transported from Amet to Natwara in Rajsamand. Investigation continues. There's complete chaos at Hyderabad's Rajiv Gandhi International Airport this morning as operational issues caused flight delays. Curious passengers tried to check in. Airport staff struggled to address grievances. This comes a day after the airport also received a threat mail. In a video that's now going viral, the Congress youth leader Avnish Singh has been caught selling drugs on camera. This is in Rewa, Madhya Pradesh. Following this, the party has expelled him for 6 years. In a video that has been released now, it's seen that the Congress leader was seen selling cough syrup and brown sugar. Clashes broke out between students and security personnel at the Banaras Hindu University. Late night, leaving over 100 injured. Violence involved stone pelting, vandalism. Vehicles were damaged. Trouble began ahead of the Tamil Sangamam event, scheduled to welcome 216 students to the campus. Statement that was made by Vladimir Putin a few hours back, escalating his attack on Europe after Kiev's underwater drone strike crippled at least 2 tankers from Moscow's shadow fleet. Russian President Vladimir Putin now threatening to cut off Ukraine from the sea.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has issued one of his strongest warnings yet, threatening to sever Ukraine's access to the sea. His comments come days after Ukrainian underwater drones targeted 2 Russian tankers in the Black Sea. Putin labeled the strikes piracy, claiming the tankers were not even in neutral waters but within the economic zone of a third country. He also warned that Russia will consider retaliatory measures against ships belonging to countries that support Ukraine. Ukraine, however, says the attacks were deliberate and strategic. Both vessels suffered major damage. Ukraine claims the strikes have knocked the tankers out of operation, disrupting Moscow's shadow fleet. With Putin now signaling expanded strikes on Ukrainian ports and incoming ships, the Black Sea risks becoming a new flashpoint in the war.
The 19th edition of the annual bilateral exercise Surya Kiran between the Indian Army and the Nepal Army is progressing at Pithoragarh in Uttarakhand, focused on enhancing operational synergy. Now the exercise includes jungle warfare, counter-terror drills in mountainous terrain. Here's a video that was released by the Army on the ongoing exercise. Taking a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, on top of 3 p.m, Republic, along with Sputnik of Russia, will get you the biggest coverage, live coverage. And at 3 p.m, we have some news as we bring our colleagues from Sputnik as well. Looking forward to Vladimir Putin's India visit. That's coming up next. Stay tuned.
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा
वाह मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा।
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And an exercise
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corp was not just another military exercise, but a carefully planned signal about capability and intent along our border with Pakistan. The numbers tell part of the story, with over 20,000 soldiers organized into battle groups that can fight independently, suggesting that the army is moving away from old defensive tactics toward a more aggressive approach that can strike on multiple fronts at once. This is not the army that waits behind borders anymore, but one that is ready to take the fight into enemy territory if provoked. The scenario itself, a cross-border offensive in response to a Pakistani attack, makes clear that India is no longer content with merely defending its borders, but is prepared to hit back hard and fast. What makes Ram Prahar different from past exercises is how everything worked together like a well-oiled machine. Tanks like the T-90S Bhishma and upgraded T-72 with night vision capabilities worked alongside artillery guns like the K-9 Vajra and Pinaka rocket launch.
From Moscow to New Delhi, the world is watching. As Russian President Vladimir Putin arrives in India, stay tuned for unprecedented on-the-ground coverage.
All eyes on New Delhi as major defense deals and strategic agreements take center stage. Stay tuned for the fastest and the most accurate coverage of President Putin's India visit, only on Republic TV.
The optics could not have been clearer and louder. By hosting the Russian President Vladimir Putin in New Delhi with all the trappings of a state visit, India is sending a strong message to the West that it's not going to compromise with its strategic autonomy under any geopolitical pressures of sanctions and tariffs.
Stay with us as our team of correspondents joins the Republic newsroom to deliver sharp insights, exclusive perspectives and real-time reporting on this groundbreaking visit. The best of India and Russia, Republic and Sputnik get you the most comprehensive coverage of this Modi-Putin summit.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Launching our very special broadcast ahead of President Vladimir Putin's visit to New Delhi. India's most watched news network is now partnering with Russia's giant news agency Sputnik. In fact, over the next few hours, we're going to give you a sneak peek into what's really expected over the next 2 days. The fastest and the most accurate coverage only on Republic TV as we join hands with Sputnik, with their reporters on the ground, not just in India, also getting us more perspective from other countries. Joining me is our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor and my colleague executive editor Niranjan. Niranjan, we're making the formal announcement of joining hands with giant Sputnik. What's really expected over the next couple of hours?
Well, Shravan and Abhishek, we've covered Putin's visits in the past, and we remember being here in this studio a few months back. It was a very short visit. He came and he left within a few hours. Yeah. This one is special. This one is bigger than before because after Operation Sindoor, at the fag end perhaps of the Ukraine war, Putin coming to India at a time when the US trade deal is not final. Abhishek, you know more about diplomacy and the kind of messaging that Putin's visit will be making headlines in across the world, of course, not just in India.
Well, absolutely. It's a global geopolitical event, Niranjan and Shravan. And I must add, Shravan, to the tie-up that we were talking about Sputnik, the fact that our guest team also has got into the act. And we have, in fact, a global panel of guests joining us from tomorrow, and that's going to be, in fact, perhaps in this broadcast itself, from Beijing to Moscow, from Moscow to Washington, D.C., from Washington, D.C. to London and whatnot, including, I believe, you have got some from Egypt and Israel. Well, essentially, the whole idea is that this is not just about India and Russia, Niranjan, and you are right, this is being globally watched. This is about India's positioning. As optics go, this is India's strong message to the West that when it comes to our strategic autonomy, we are not going to compromise. Yes. And even if this sanctions regime by the West on Russia is going to restrict a lot of space for other nations to engage with the Russians, the fact of the matter is, unless you talk to them, yes, you cannot get the war on the ground to stop, which even President Trump wants. Yes. So I think this is a very important event, and let's get going with whatever we are going to bring to our viewers over the next 2 days.
Shravan, if you can introduce our friends from Sputnik who are joining us live on the broadcast and taking us through this entire 50 to 75-hour live coverage starting now.
Well, in fact, over the next 2 days, what you're essentially going to witness here on Republic TV is the fastest coverage that's going to take place and the most incisive. In fact, the reason why we say it's the most incisive because Sputnik, which happens to be one of the largest news agency, has now partnered with Republic TV. What we are going to do over the next 2 days with the largest team of reporters at every venue where the Prime Minister and President Putin are going to meet, and there are also on the sides various discussions that are going to take place. Defense, as well as some strategic agreements that are likely to take center stage. Joining us on this broadcast is our friend from Sputnik, Dimitri. He's the head of Sputnik India. Thank you very much, Dimitri, for joining us. I believe you're also making the formal announcement right now at Sputnik, the joining hands with Republic Media Network.
Well, yes, this is a very exciting opportunity for us because we all know of Republic's reputation as an Indian media powerhouse. And for our part, we've been able to build a very strong position, not just in the Russian market, but all across the world. Our content is broadcast in more than 32 different languages. So for us, it makes sense to join hands right now because when we, as your colleague Abhishek said, this isn't just about Russia and India. The reason this visit is generating attention and excitement across the world is because Russia and India are viewed as leaders in the formulation of a multipolar world. Because everyone understands that the unipolar world, where there's only one superpower, is going away. But at the same time, people don't want to go back to the Cold War, where there was a bipolar system of only two superpowers and that forced everyone to pick sides. So the global majority wants a level playing field. And they view Russia and India as two major leaders in that global revolution. And it's not just on a political level, but also on an economic level, on a technological level, and on a military level. So on our end, we're very excited to say that we'll be able to bring in not just folks from Russia, from Moscow, but also correspondents and speakers from Ethiopia, Egypt, Lebanon, Iran, and even the European Union and the United States. So I think that we're going to offer unprecedented coverage together, and I feel confident in saying that no one will be offering the same menu of options as we collectively will be offering.
Well, I think so. That sets the tone, Niranjan. No one perhaps would be able to put together what we are essentially planning to do. So let's give you a sneak peek quickly into what's really expected in terms of the deals that are likely to come together. In fact, Abhishek, you would be in a better position to really talk about the fact that what's really expected in terms of the defense deals that have been spoken about, the Su-57 and S-400. You were part of that foreign ministry briefing that took place. Why don't you first take our viewers through some of the details that you've been able to pick up?
Well, so the quick ones, Shravan and Niranjan and Dimitri there. There is a lot of talk about Su-57s and the S-400s. Remember, we bought 5 batteries of S-400 in 2019-20. 2 are yet to be delivered, so the Russians have to really fill in that blank. Having said that, the kind of success we had with S-400s in Operation Sindoor, obviously we can look at more, not just S-400, but their upgraded version S-500, and the Russians have offered technology transfer, so there would be talks on that. Sukhoi 57 is the 5th generation aircraft of Russians. We had Mr. Peskov yesterday, the Kremlin spokesperson, mentioned that this is their best. This is the best in the world. But the point is that do we really need it? And if we do, how many we need? Because the Russians, again, like in the case of S-400, so in the case of Su-57, are saying there is the option of tech transfer. So F-35 versus Su-57, that would be another. But again, this would be a conversation, Niranjan. So far as deal is concerned, Shravan, I believe it's already there. In front of our eyes, which would be signed on the dotted line in the presence of the two leaders, which is about logistics exchange and military exchange between the two nations in terms of quickly deploying forces in each other's territory, sharing logistics, communication, etc. Similar agreements, of course, exist with other nations, for example, with the United States and the United Kingdom. With Russia, we are getting now.
Yeah, I think, Shravan, one more key aspect of this visit, of course, the focus will be on the defense deals. At a time when we have a lot of pressure from America, especially on oil, and the kind of trading relationship we've had vis-a-vis oil with Russia, it's been beneficial to India and the Indian markets. But what happens now? Because, of course, it will be on the top of Russia's agenda as well. If I can take this question to Dimitri. Dimitri, I saw a post put out by Sputnik by the Russian leadership calling the Sukhoi 57 the world's best fighter jet. And of course, in Operation Sindoor, like my colleague Abhishek mentioned, we've seen the success of S-400 along with our own indigenous systems as well, the Akash missile. But S-400 did play a big part, also mentioned by our armed forces chiefs. So outside of the defense deals, how do you see this visit play out in terms of what is on the table between India and Russia?
Well, I actually think that perhaps an even bigger news item is going to be the deals on the economic side. Because yesterday, Sputnik India hosted Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov to provide a media briefing for Indian journalists ahead of Putin's visit. And he said that Russia recognizes that there is a trade imbalance in India. In other words, that we sell a lot of energy products, but we don't have as many Indian products on the Russian market as we'd like. So that's clearly something that Russia is interested in changing. Russia is interested in seeing Indians, in seeing India not just purchase Russian goods and resources, but for Indian companies to come to the Russian market and provide their products and services. And there is quite a unique opportunity right now because a lot of Western companies left after the Ukraine conflict. And although some of the niches have been filled by domestic Russian companies and Chinese companies, there's still a lot of opportunities there. And so if Indian companies in areas such as IT, industry are able to come in, I think that they'll be very competitive. The other point is the point of joint production, right? Because, again, Putin himself has consistently said that Russia supports the Make in India initiative and actually wants to be part of it. So Russia is looking for opportunities to bring high-quality manufacturing opportunities, manufacturing jobs to India. We saw back in October the announcement that Russia's civilian airline, the Sukhoi Superjet 100, would be produced in India for the Indian market. I can tell you that there's definitely interest on shipbuilding. There's definitely interest in pharmaceuticals. There's a whole host of places where we cannot just develop, not just build products together, but co-develop technologies. And on that front, I'd actually like to return to the defense front, because I think the case of BrahMos is quite illustrative in this regard, because Russia and India joined forces together to create a high-quality anti-ship missile. And now this anti-ship missile is generating interest from various countries in the world. And I think I wouldn't be surprised to see if on the sidelines of the Putin-Modi summit, there would be some sort of announcement about new BrahMos sales to a new country. So I think that the economic side is to keep an eye on, because we currently have a trade balance of about $63 billion a year. The goal is to raise it to $100 billion per year by 2030. There's a lot of things we can do on that front, and I'm expecting some breakthroughs on the economic side of things over the next 2 days.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Abhishek, I think we have a breaking. Dimitri, stay with us. We're getting in some more inputs from New Delhi as well on how we're preparing. Abhishek, if you can take our viewers to the next breaking update that's coming in right now on the visit.
Well, so the breaking is, Niranjan, I'm getting to hear that Prime Minister Modi and President Putin are going to have their meeting immediately on arrival of President in the evening of tomorrow, which means that he lands and heads straight to 7 LKM. I believe there is a one-on-one meeting planned between the two leaders at the Lok Kalyan Marg residence of the Prime Minister. And that's a big one, because remember, it's a state visit, so the whole trappings of a state visit, the ceremonial welcome at the forecourts of the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the visit to the Rajghat to pay respects to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, going to the Hyderabad House, the delegation level talks, business summit after that at Bharat Mandapam, and then the state banquet before that, meeting the president. That's all there. But I think when it comes to engaging one-on-one, the most crucial meeting, and taking their own equation forward and to bring and add to the heft of the delegation level talks with the mutual understanding. I think that one-on-one meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Putin, even before the delegation level talks, that's tomorrow itself, and that's going to be a big one. Shawan.
Well, in fact, we're also picking up some more details with regards to what's really going to happen in terms of the number of meetings that are basically lined up. Dimitri, in fact, you were in touch with those who have been part of Russian President's entire delegation. Could you help us understand in terms of the business delegation that's likely to accompany President Putin?
Well, first of all, you're going to see the leadership of Russia's largest banks, that is Sberbank and VTB. Both banks are trying to establish their presence in India, expand their presence in India, all of that to make financial transfers between the two countries easier. And if the financial transfers can be done with ease, that obviously opens a lot of trade opportunities for both sides. The other side of things that is going to be important is pharmaceuticals, because right now, Indian pharmaceuticals, I would say, especially over the past year or two, have emerged as major players in the Russian market. Because as a result of Western sanctions, a lot of Western brands left the Russian market. And Russians were initially very worried because they expected a spike in medicine. But thankfully, Indian companies came to the rescue, and they were actually able to bring medicine prices down because they provided higher quality, cheaper alternatives to Western medicine. And so I think pharmaceutical is going to be important. We also know that the Minister of Agriculture will be there. There's going to be talks about, increasing imports of Indian agricultural goods. There's going to be the Deputy Minister of Industry. I think you're going to see more stuff about aviation and shipbuilding on that front. And you obviously are going to have folks from Russia's nuclear state agency, Rosatom, which is building nuclear power plants across the world. There's going to definitely be talks on the nuclear energy front.
Let me also, Niranjan, get a quick word from Krishna Mohan. He's the Defense and Security Correspondent of Sputnik here in India. Krishna, just help us understand what's the response really coming in from the Indian Armed Forces with regards to S-400? Because during Operation Sindoor itself, we have essentially seen how the first layer of defense that really came in from our indigenous products itself. How exactly is India really weighing this in, and what's the roadmap like in terms of bringing in S-400?
John, Indian armed forces are using Russian military hardware since, I think, more than 5-6 decades. S-400 is the most modern anti-air defense system. India acquired this, and at that time, America pressure on India for doing trade with Russia is not new. Even when India to sign the deal of S-400 with Russia in 2018. In 2017, America passed CAATSA bill, countering adversaries of America through Sanction Act. And in 2018, you must remember that in May of 2018, there was a 2x2 meeting of Defense Minister and Finance Minister of India and USA that was going to happen in Delhi, and that was cancelled. But even then, India went ahead and signed S-400 deal. And S-400 proved its worth in Operation Sindoor. Recently in October, Chief of Air Staff, Indian Air Force, he announced, and on record he says that Indian Air Force got a kill from longest range. It was more than 310 kilometers. And that was obviously shot from S-400. Now Indian Air Force has received 3 regiments in very strategic.
Okay, I think there's a poor audio line there. Just losing the signal there with Krishna Mohan. We'll just fix that line.
Can I go to...
yes, Abhishek. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I mean, Dimitri, Abhishek Desai, you were mentioning about the possibility of the economic side of the talks yielding bigger headlines vis-a-vis the defense side. Now, I just want to have a bit of an elaboration on that. What do you mean by that? I mean, the fact that the balance of trade situation is so much in favor of Russia, the fact that Russia does not purchase enough of Indian goods and services, the fact that even those exporters who are sending in goods and services to Russia find it difficult because of the Western sanctions to get the money. I think that something might be in the works on that aspect of making the exchange of goods and services and the currencies a little easier.
Of course, when you look at the meetings between Jai Shankar and, let's say, Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov, or Russian Deputy Prime Minister Denis Monterov, who is basically the one who's in charge of managing the economic side of the Russia-India relationship, both of them have acknowledged India's concerns regarding the trade balance, and they also, have repeatedly stated that Russia is interested in making this, more evened out. In order to do that, you obviously need to improve the situation with financial transfers. As we see, high-level Russian banking representatives are going to be there. The other thing that you need to do is talk about logistics, to make logistics easier and cheaper and more effective. We already know that Russia and India have the international north-south transport corridor. which runs through Iran and is quicker than the traditional Suez Canal route. So that's one route. We also have the Chennai-Vladivostok route. So you are seeing all these sort of logistical initiatives being played out to make it easier to ship goods from India to Russia and vice versa. Obviously, this is going to be a medium-term, long-term consideration because it takes time to fully develop this infrastructure, especially in the case of the international north-south transport corridor, develop this infrastructure via third countries. But Russia and India are committed. It has support from outside parties. And I think that's, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has said that both these trade routes are high on the agenda, and so has Russian Deputy Prime Minister Denis Monterov.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question to Krishna Mohan. Krishna, last evening, after the Duma ratified RELOS, a lot of interest in India around what that could mean. Looking at the fine print, it appears to have significant, outcome here in India. If you can tell our viewers a little bit about RELOS and whether that will also figure in the meeting when Putin lands in Delhi.
Whenever India and Russia met, or there are some summit, then defense is always a central point. Though yesterday, Pasco explained that not only defense but trade and even cultural and technical trade, everything will be discussed. And that the discussions will be on a wide spectrum of various issues. But always defense is on the center stage between India and Russia. Russia has been a strategic partner since long, and India always. Most important thing is there is no string attached with any defense deal with Russia. Yeah. Second, there is no trust deficit between India and Russia, whether on in trade or in defense deals. So these all treaties, these all summits are strengthening in Indian and Russia defense partnership. And now India and Russia's defense relation is not only buyer and sellers, but of joint producers. India and Russia are jointly producing many important military hardware. BrahMos was the first, which is being even exported. India got its first major export order from Philippines of BrahMos. Vietnam and Indonesia are also in the line. And soon BrahMos deal with Vietnam and Indonesia will also be decided. AK-203 is second major joint production project in Korba near Amethi in Uttar Pradesh. India is producing Indo-Russia Rifle Corporation. There is an entity, and that entity is producing AK-203 rifles for Indian Armed Forces. And after completing the order for Indian Armed Forces, that is more than 6 and 6.5 lakh, there will be additional production to export also. So this relation is going to pave way for joint production and export. There are many projects which are in pipeline. There are many projects, many products from Russia which will be maintained and refurbished and all in India. MRO facilities are being developed.
Krishna, I have to take a short break at this point. So I'm thanking both Dimitri and you. Thanking both Dimitri and Krishna. The handshake is tomorrow. He lands tomorrow. So we're just hours away from that meeting. I thank both Dimitri and Krishna Mohan for joining us here on Republic TV. And we here at Republic will be getting you the biggest coverage. You heard from Dimitri and Krishna Mohan. Sputnik is Russia's largest news agency, and unmatched live breaking news coverage for you on Republic, along with Sputnik, Abhishek and Shavan. I think our viewers can look forward to that. Have to take a short break right now. Breaking news coming up after the break. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे,
मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do.
Hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India. The law roars louder. Real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corp was not just another military exercise, but a carefully planned signal about capability and intent along our border with Pakistan. The numbers tell part of the story, with over 20,000 soldiers organized into battle groups that can fight independently, suggesting that the army is moving away from old defensive tactics toward a more aggressive approach that can strike on multiple fronts at once. This is not the army that waits behind borders anymore, but one that is ready to take the fight into enemy territory if provoked. The scenario itself, a cross-border offensive in response to a Pakistani attack, makes clear that India is no longer content with merely defending its borders, but is prepared to hit back hard and fast. What makes Ram Prahar different from past exercises is how everything worked together like a well-oiled machine. Tanks like the T-90S Bhishma and upgraded T-72 with night vision capabilities worked alongside artillery guns like the K-9 Vajra and Pinaka rocket launchers that can hit targets 90 kilometers away. The army showed it could cross deep rivers under fire using special bridge-laying tanks that can set up a 20-meter bridge in less than 4 minutes while enemy guns are firing at them. Special forces were dropped at night from heights of 25,000.
बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था मेरे बहन भाई।
Rajnath Singh slams Jawaharlal Nehru, claims he wanted to use public funds to build Babri Masjid. Congress calls Rajnath's remarks a lie. Telangana CM Revanth Reddy remarks on Hindu deities sparks huge controversy. BJP calls out Congress's habitual insult of Hindu sentiments.
सर आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जो है जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए।
Massive controversy over Madani's pitch to have jihad taught in schools. Republic confronted Jamia Ulema-e-Hind chief. Major speculations over Jharkhand CM's meet with the PM. Congress calls for key meeting in Jharkhand on December 4th. Amid Karnataka power tussle, Siddaramaiah meets Congress High Command, says will step down if ordered by Rahul Gandhi. It's the most extensive coverage on the Modi-Putin meeting in Delhi. Republic Sputnik ahead on live updates. Rupee falls to record low, crosses 90 against dollar for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting this edition with a breaking news that is coming in. This time, the government has removed the mandatory pre-installation of the Sanchar Sati app. The government has in fact said that given Sanchar Sati's increasing acceptance, the government has decided to make it pre-mandatory for mobile manufacturing. Now, government has also said that so far 1.4 crore users have downloaded the app and are contributing to the information on 2,000 fraud incidents per day. Ladies and gentlemen, the controversy over Sanchar Sati app is only brewing, and this time, the government's order to pre-install the app on all smartphones sold in India has sparked concerns. The government has now decided to remove the mandatory pre-installation of the Sanchar Sati app. The government, in fact, said that with intent to provide access to cybersecurity to all citizens, had mandated pre-installation of Sanchar Sati app on smartphones. They have further said that the app is secure and is purely meant to help citizens from bad actors in the cyber world. Given Sanchar Sati's increasing acceptance, government has decided not to make the pre-installation mandatory for the mobile manufacturers. This is the statement that is coming in from the Ministry of Communications here, ladies and gentlemen. The government has issued a new guideline. In fact, they have decided to remove the mandatory pre-installation of the Sanchar Sati app. Remember, viewers, there was a lot of hue and cry over this particular app, with the opposition continuously stating that the app was a breach of privacy for the citizens of India. All right, I'm being joined by Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor on the phone line. Abhishek, the government has now decided that the mandatory pre-installation of the Sanchar Sati app is no more a prerequisite. Tell us more.
Well, you see, so there is a fresh notification coming in from the government, and they have clarified now that, or rather, rolled back the provision of mandatory pre-installation of this app on all mobile phones or smartphones. And the government says that while a tremendous amount of success has been achieved in tracking cybercrime and even tracking lost phones with the help of this app over the last few months, the fact that the opposition tried to give it a spin or perhaps succeeded in some measure, as can be seen from the government rollback mantra, in suggesting that this was some kind of a spyware, this was some kind of a tracking app which would have, geo-tracked citizens and compromised their privacy. And that is the reason why the government, keeping in mind the sentiments of the larger masses, even if manipulated by the opposition, has decided to roll back Sanchar Sati. And the thinking was, in the government sources tell us, that if this perception gets strengthened, that this is a spyware or connected with tracking of people, then the whole purpose of providing a cyber security net to the people and the masses would get defeated. So to take away that sting of the opposition attack, this mandatory provision of pre-installation of the software from the mobile phones has been done away with the fresh notification that's just come out.
Well, absolutely, Abhishek. Thank you for getting us those updates. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, listen in to what Minister of Communication Jyotiraditya Scindia had to say on the Sanchar Sati app. Take a look.
संचार साथी ऐप का प्रयोग हमने 2025 में हम लोग ने शुरुआत किया। अब संचार साथी क्या है? संचार साथी एक ऐसा ऐप है जिसके आधार पर जन भागीदारी के आधार पर आज देश की एक एक जनता और नागरिक अपने आप को सुरक्षित रख सकता है फ्रॉड से, स्टोलन मोबाइल से, अपने स्टोलन मोबाइल को रिकॉर्ड कर सकता है, रिपोर्ट कर सकता है और 20 करोड़ हिट सर हमारे पोर्टल पे हुए हैं, करीब 1.5 करोड़ ऐप डाउनलोड हुए, और इसी के आधार पर जन भागीदारी, इसकी सफलता, सॉफ्टवेयर तो हमने बनाई है सरकार ने, पर इसकी सफलता का श्रेय अगर किसी को जाता है तो जनता को जाता है सर, क्योंकि उनके उपयोग के आधार पर ही हम लोग सफल हो पाए। और आज मैं रिकॉर्ड पे रखना चाहता हूं कि इस ऐप और पोर्टल के आधार पर 1.5 करोड़ मोबाइल कनेक्शन देश के अंदर डिस्कनेक्ट हुए हैं जो फ्रॉडुलेंट हैं, क्योंकि जनता ने रिपोर्ट किया है। करीब 26 लाख स्टोलन हैंडसेट हम लोग ने ट्रेस किए, 7 लाख स्टोलन हैंडसेट जो उपभोक्ता है उसे हमने वापस भी कर दिया है, और 41 लाख मोबाइल कनेक्शन डिस्कनेक्ट हुए हैं, 6 लाख फ्रॉड हम लोग ने ब्लॉक किए। इसी के आधार पर हम लोग ने ये कोशिश की कि हम लोग हर एक नागरिक को वो चॉइस दें, क्योंकि ऐप फोन पे है इसका मतलब नहीं है कि वो ऑटोमेटिकली ऑपरेट हो जाएगा। जब तक मैं उपभोक्ता के रूप में उसमें रजिस्टर ना करूं तब तक वो ऑपरेट नहीं होगा। और मैं उपभोक्ता के आधार पर, जैसे मेरे फोन पर सर ढेर सारे ऐप्स होते हैं, मैं उस ऐप को भी दबा के मैं डिलीट कर सकता हूं। तो ये लोकतंत्र में पूर्ण हक और अधिकार नागरिक का है सर। हम लोग ने केवल ये ऐप सभी को उपलब्ध कराने के लिए कदम लिया है। लेकिन फिर भी मैं सदन के पटल पे भी कहना चाहता हूं, हमारा कोई हट नहीं, इसकी सफलता का प्रयोग जनता के आधार पर हुआ है। फीडबैक हमें मिलेगा, उस फीडबैक के आधार पर अगर उस ऑर्डर में भी हम लोगों को कोई चेंज लाना है उसके लिए भी हम लोग तैयार हैं। ये मैं अवश्य कहना चाहता हूं कि इस ऐप के आधार पर न स्नूपिंग संभव है न स्नूपिंग होगा। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार देश की जनता के हाथों में अधिकार देना चाहती है ताकि वे अपने आप को सुरक्षित रख पाए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर।
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jyotiraditya Scindia on the Sanchar Sati app. There's a lot of controversy brewing around this particular app here, viewers. The Sanchar Sati app controversy is revolving around the government's order to pre-install the app. However, in the latest move, this is a big move that is coming in from the government here, viewers. The government has, in fact, removed the mandatory pre-installation of this particular app. This is a big move that is coming in. In fact, the government has time and again reiterated that this is, in fact, a big boon for the citizens of India and not what the opposition continues to say. The opposition, on the other hand, says that this is, in fact, a snooping device for the citizens of India. However, like we just heard Jyotiraditya Scindia, and like the government has been continuously reiterating that this is, in fact, a boon for the citizens, and this is for all the rise in the cybercrime in the country. In fact, I'm being joined by cyber expert N.S. Nappinai. So thank you for speaking to Republic. This is a big move that is coming in from the government. The government has said that the pre-installation of this app is no more a mandate, and this, of course, is after. After the opposition said that this is an excuse for the government to sort of snoop on the citizens, ma'am. What is your first take on this?
I must say first that I'm really glad that the government has changed its stand, and it is a wise decision, because the issue was never about Sanchar Sati. It is for each person who wants to use the service to decide whether they want to download the app or not. The concern was when you make it mandatory. Contrary to corporate actions of similar vein, when a government does that, it is violative, and that is impermissible. So there are two things that the government has to ensure are not pushed forward. One is, of course, the mandatory pre-installation, and secondly, also the directive asking service providers to insist that it should be part of a software update where the app will be automatically installed. It's critical that on both counts, the mandatory installation requirement is removed.
All right, thank you, ma'am, for giving us your take. Of course, this is one of the biggest stories that we are tracking here, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, we have another breaking news that is coming in. This one is from Karnataka here, viewers. Tension near Jamia Masjid as Hanuma Sankirtana Yatra has been halted by the police. The Hanuma Maladhari's Sankirtana Yatra was continued in Srirangapatna with local residents distributing fruits and buttermilk to devotees along the 4-kilometer route. Now, the procession is currently moving from the Ganjam Road at a circle near a mosque. Some participants were seen placing lemons and lighting camphor as part of the ritual. Now, the Sankirtana Yatra reached the vicinity of the Jamia Masjid, where a group of Maladharis attempted to move forward towards the mosque area. It was here when the police intervened and stopped the Maladharis, leading to moments of pushing and jostling between the two sides. Some participants there were also raising slogans while pointing towards the Jamia Masjid side. All right, joining me live is my colleague Abhishek from Bengaluru. Abhishek, this is this breaking news that we are getting in from Karnataka. There is a tension erupting near the Jamia Masjid during this particular yatra. Tell us more.
Antara, I am right at the location where the Maladaris of the Hanuma Maladaris who tried to barge into the masjid, which is located in Srirangapatna. The history goes back to a period of Tipu Sultan, who was ruling the state, and when he demolished the temple which was prevailing here, which belonged to Lord Hanuman, after which he installed a new mosque here. And for the last 11 to 12 years, the Hanuma Maladaris and Hindu Jagrana Vedike are conducting various other march pasts beyond this masjid to make sure that this masjid comes down in the next couple of years, and they would build a Hanuman temple once again at the same location. This yatra starts at the Nimishamba temple, which is near the banks of Srirangapatna, and also this continues for the location 2.5 to 3 kilometers from the starting point to the Sriranganatha temple, which is located in Srirangapatna. At least 1,500 police personnel were deployed, 150 CCTVs were installed, personnel from CAR, DAR, KSRP and the commando wing of the Karnataka State Police were deployed. Drones were used to monitor the live visuals of the yatra. There were at least 10 to 15 teams of police which had been divided so that they come with the teams of the Maladharis. And from this door of the fort, the Hanuma Maladharis took this way towards the Jamia Masjid. They stopped in this place. They tried to barge into the masjid to pelt stones at the masjid. However, the efforts of the police did not let the Hanuma Maladharis get inside the Jamia Masjid. At least 8 to 10 KSRP vehicles which had been parked around the masjid made sure that these Hanuma Maladharis don't get within the mosque, because it would obviously create a ruckus between the Hindu and the Muslim community. And we shouldn't forget the fact that while talking to the Republic TV, Mallikarjuna Baladandi, the SP of Mandi, told that the CCTV visuals will be monitored. If at all any incident which was supposed to create a disharmony in the community or the society, action against those persons will be taken in the next couple of days. The yatra has successfully completed as per the police information, because not a single incident of the issue between the Hindu or the Muslim conflict has been reported for the first ever time in the last 11 years. And also, we shouldn't forget the fact, Antara, that at least 5,000 to 6,000 Hanuma Maladharis were present. The rally, which started from Nimishamba temple in Srirangapatna, has already reached Ranganatha Swami temple in Srirangapatna itself, which covered the distance of around 4 kilometers. We also saw the deity or the idol of Hanuman Swami being carried on the chariot, which was followed by the DJ, which was followed by the traditional music. And this is a place, this is the exact circle where the masjid is located. This is one of the sensitive most places in and around Srirangapatna as per the police sources. And this is, they very clearly knew that this was about to happen, and that is the only reason as to why the majority of the force of the police were deployed in this location. And also, the police are successful in taking the situation into the control and managing this rally peacefully, which is already ended as of now. Antara.
Right, Abhishek. In fact, to our viewers who are just tuning in, if you could also tell us about the sloganeering which sort of erupted during this confrontation, and also how many police convoys have been deployed in the area, considering that you just told us that, the Hanuman devotees have come in large numbers there. Abhishek.
Okay, the slogans very clearly meant that they would be demolishing this mosque in the next couple of years, and also they will be rebuilding the Hanuman temple, which was prevailing even before Tipu Sultan ruled this place. With respect to the deployment of the police force, I am requesting my video journalists to show the KSRP vans which have been parked on the streets around the Jamia Masjid. So on a very average note, at least 8 KSRP vans have been deployed here. 1,500 policemen had been deployed under the leadership of the SP Mandya, Mr. Mallikarjuna Baladandi. At least 4 to 5 of the ASPs, followed by majority of the circle police inspectors, police sub-inspectors, and various other personnel from the police department were deployed. On the other hand, we've also seen the commando wing of the Karnataka State Police being deployed here. At least 2 to 3 drones were deployed during the entire march of this the Hanuman Maladaris, and not to forget, there were the police from the intelligence wing as well as the Mufti wing to make sure that none of the things go out of hand. And we shouldn't also forget the fact that CCTVs, more than 150 CCTVs had been installed all the way along from Nimishamba temple until the Sri Ranganatha Swami temple. And the fact is that majority of the sensitive places have already been barricaded up by the police, which will be taken out in the evening. So this is one successful yatra as per the police sources, and also we'll have to see what the Hindu leaders say about this in the next couple of minutes. Antara, back to you.
Well, thank you, Abhishek, for getting us these details. Of course, we are very, very closely tracking this as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are shifting our focus to another breaking news that is coming in. This one's from Pakistan here, ladies and gentlemen. The tension continues to brew over Imran Khan's continued isolation. In fact, in a resolute stand against the escalating isolation of former Pakistani PM Imran Khan at the Adiala jail in Rawalpindi, his sister, Noreen Khanum, announced that the family has charted a firm path forward amid growing concerns over his health and restricted access. Now, citing months of denied visits, despite court orders allowing the family and legal consultations, Khanum declared that every Tuesday, relatives, including herself, Alima Khanum and Uzma Khan, will stage a sit-in protest outside the Adiala jail gates, refusing to depart until permission is granted for 6 family members and 6 lawyers to meet Khan. The tension there, ladies and gentlemen, continues to brew over the continued isolation of former Pakistani PM Imran Khan. I'm being joined by my colleague Gursimran. Gursimran, Imran Khan's sister has now made it crystal clear that despite the fact that the court has allowed visitation, the isolation continues to be a point of contention for them. And now she has made it clear that they will be staging a sit-in protest outside the Adiala jail gates. Gursimran.
Yes, it's Noreen Khan that has come out with a statement that their now stance is very clear, that they are not going to bow down to the atrocities being committed upon Imran Khan by the Pakistani establishment on the directions of none other than Field Marshal General Asim Munir. Because yesterday we saw that when Uzma Khan came out of meeting with Imran Khan, she made it very clear that all is being done on the behest of General Asim Munir. And now Noreen Khan has come out with a detailed charter that how they will be going ahead. She has said that every Tuesday they will be going to hold a sit-in protest until and unless they are granted a 12 members delegation that includes 6 from the family and 6 from the legal team of Imran Khan to visit Imran Khan and to meet him on the regular basis. Because yesterday also we have seen that Usman Khan came out and said that Imran told her that he has been kept in the solitary confinement and he has been denied speaking to even other of the inmates and has also been denied all the access that he was granted by the court's permission. So the way they have scuttled, the Pakistani establishment has scuttled all the leverages that were given to Imran Khan after the court orders, including access to its legal team, that they have taken it very seriously now, the family members, and now the entire PTI, that will be outside the Adiala jail every Tuesday.
Well, right, Gursimran, do stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting another breaking news. This one's from Pakistan as well. TTP has claimed 4 attacks on Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the tension continues to brew here. There have been 4 separate attacks by TTP on Pakistan. We'll be shortly getting you the visuals of the same. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has claimed 4 separate attacks on 2nd of December 2025 under its ongoing Al-Khandak operations targeting security forces across Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Dera Ismail Khan, North Waziristan, Bannu and Tank districts. Now, according to the group, a sniper cell struck a military checkpoint in Khowi Bahara within the Dera Ismail Khan's Parwa subdivision, while in North Waziristan's Hasu Khel area of Mir Ali subdivision, militants launched an assault on a military post alongside additional actions reported in Bannu and Tank. This is a fresh update that we are getting in here, ladies and gentlemen. TTP has claimed 4 separate attacks against Pakistani forces in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Gursimran, who continues to join us. Gursimran, of course, the tension is only brewing in Pakistan. This time, TTP has claimed 4 different attacks on 2nd of December in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Tell us more details.
Yes, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has intensified its attacks after we have seen that the November month has been brutal for the Pakistani forces, with more than 300 attacks being reported in the month of November under Operation Al-Khandak. The month of December seems going on the same frequency by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which has carried out 4 attacks in North Waziristan, Dera Ismail Khan in the Tank district and in the Bannu district. In the Tank and the Bannu, the operations that they have carried out were mainly focused to ensure that those who were supporting the government and were part of the armed forces, they leave the armed forces and they go back to their livelihood. This was after an abduction was carried out by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Now coming to the attacks that have been carried out in the Dera Ismail Khan, it was a sniper attack in which there have been several casualties that have been reported to the Pakistani armed forces. While if we speak of the North Waziristan, it was an ambush attack that was carried out on the Pakistani armed forces in which
Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting a fresh breaking here, ladies and gentlemen. SPMP, ladies and gentlemen, has made an open jihad threat in the parliament. He has stoked a huge controversy. He has said that Muslims will be forced to do jihad. This is a big breaking news that we are getting in, and SPMP has stoked a massive controversy in the parliament. He has in fact made an open jihad threat. Here, viewers, he has made an open jihad threat inside the parliament. In fact, SPMP Nadvi has said, and I quote, Muslims will be forced to do jihad. This jihad comment inside the parliament over Waqf face-off here, viewers. In fact, SPMP has linked Waqf timeline to need for Muslims to do jihad. This is a huge breaking news that we are getting in here. Inside the parliament, the SPMP has stoked this huge controversy. He has made an open jihad threat in the parliament, on the floor of the parliament. Listen in to what the SPMP had to say.
वक़फ़ अमेंडमेंट बिल जेपीसी कमेटी बनाई थी, जिसमें हमारी पार्टी ने पहले ही कहा था कि सरकार की नीयत और नीति दोनों ही सही नहीं है। 6 महीने का टाइम मिला। उम्मीद पोर्टल पे 30% ओनली वक़फ़ जायदादों का, मदरसों का, मस्जिदों, कब्रिस्तानों का रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ है। उस पर भी सर्वर डाउन चल रहा है और वो डेट खत्म हो गई है। 70% वक्फ जायदादों का रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं हुआ है। ऐसा लगता है कि आर्टिकल 25 और 26 को खत्म कर दिया गया है और मुसलमानों की जिंदगी हमारे प्यारे वतन में ही तंग कर दी गई है, जिसकी वजह से माननीय स्पीकर साहिबा, वो लोग जिनके पुरखों ने आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ी थी, मौलाना अरशद मदनी, वो कह रहे हैं कि जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में? मैडम, एक जुल्म की एक बर्दाश्त होती है और जब बर्दाश्त खत्म हो जाती है तो जुल्म। धन्यवाद। वक़फ़ अमेंडमेंट बिल जेपीसी कमेटी बनाई थी, जिसमें हमारी पार्टी ने पहले ही कहा था कि सरकार की नीयत और नीति दोनों ही सही नहीं है। 6 महीने का टाइम मिला। उम्मीद पोर्टल पे 30% ओनली वक़फ़ जायदादों का, मदरसों का, मस्जिदों, कब्रिस्तानों का रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ है। उस पर भी सर्वर डाउन चल रहा है और वो डेट खत्म हो गई है। 70% वक़्फ जायदादों का रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं हुआ है। ऐसा लगता है कि आर्टिकल 25 और 26 को खत्म कर दिया गया है और मुसलमानों की जिंदगी हमारे प्यारे वतन में ही तंग कर दी गई है, जिसकी वजह से माननीय स्पीकर साहिबा, वो लोग जिनके पुरखों ने आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ी थी, मौलाना अरशद मदनी, वो कह रहे हैं कि जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में? मैडम, एक जुल्म की एक बर्दाश्त होती है और जब बर्दाश्त खत्म हो जाती है तो जुल्म।
धन्यवाद।
वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल।
All right, joining me live is my colleague Rakshita. Rakshita, this particular SPMP has made an open jihad threat on the floor of the parliament. Tell us more.
Absolutely, it's an outrageous remark, and this has happened on the floor of the House. We've seen, the likes of Maulana, the Jamaatul Ulama Hind chief also recently making, calling for jihad. But this is a sitting MP of the Samajwadi Party, and we've seen how the MPs of Samajwadi parties have time and again made communally loaded statement. But this is a sitting MP on the floor of the House. He has said this very much openly that there will, if need be, that the community will wage a jihad. This is while he was talking about the Waqf bill, he was flagging some issues, and every, of course, a lawmaker has the right to raise issues. But here he continued to fearmonger, saying that Article 25 and Article 26 of the Indian Constitution they have been deprived of that right. That is the freedom of religion and also freedom to manage the affairs of one's religion. That is Article 26 of the Constitution. He was citing that and saying that they fear that this is oppression of the Muslims, and saying that the freedom that is being curbed, it will lead us to wage jihad. How long will Muslims... This is a very, very incendiary remark, something that is a provocative remark. It remains to be seen how the centre will be reacting to this, because this is a sitting MP who has made this remark inside the parliament.
Right. Absolutely, Rakshita. In fact, this speaks volumes about the party in itself. In fact, the sitting SPMP has clearly stated that if you do not comply with our demands, this is what we are going to do. And he has said it, and he has said it in a crystal clear language, that if at all their demands are not met, they will be invoking jihad. And this outrageous statement has been made in the floor of the House.
Absolutely. Just as I said, that this was, of course, an issue regarding Waqf that was being raised. He was talking about how the websites were not working and some issues with the functioning, which he has all the rights to raise in the parliament. But making comments like jihad, that one will wage jihad, is something we've heard outside the parliament. But from a sitting MP inside, on the floor of the House, is something that is really, really outrageous. It's a big controversy this winter session, and of course, this is an incendiary and very, very divisive remark. It is a threat, in fact. It's an open threat from this sitting MP from the Samajwadi Party that there will be jihad, a war of jihad, that they will be pushed to, it's an open threat, nothing else.
Absolutely, Rakshita. It's completely unacceptable, the kind of comment that has been made on the floor of the House. In fact, do stay with us. Let me quickly play that bite for you again, viewers. Take a look.
ऑफ अमेंडमेंट बिल जेपीसी कमेटी बनाई थी, जिसमें हमारी पार्टी ने पहले ही कहा था कि सरकार की नियत और नीति दोनों ही सही नहीं है। 6 महीने का टाइम मिला। उम्मीद पोर्टल पे 30% ओनली वक्फ जायदादों का, मदरसों का, मस्जिदों, कब्रिस्तानों का रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ है। उस पर भी सर्वर डाउन चल रहा है और वो डेट खत्म हो गई है। 70% वक्फ जायदादों का रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं हुआ है। ऐसा लगता है कि आर्टिकल 25 और 26 को खत्म कर दिया गया है और मुसलमानों की जिंदगी हमारे प्यारे वतन में ही तंग कर दी गई है, जिसकी वजह से माननीय स्पीकर साहिबा, वो लोग जिनके पुरखों ने आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ी थी, मौलाना अरशद मदनी, वो कह रहे हैं कि जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में? मैडम, एक जुल्म की एक बर्दाश्त होती है और जब बर्दाश्त खत्म हो जाती है तो जुल्म।
धन्यवाद।
Well, that was the SPMP there, ladies and gentlemen, making that outrageous comment. He has said that if at all the Waqf law if at all their demands are not met regarding this Waqf law, jihad will be invoked. That is an open threat right there, ladies and gentlemen, on the floor of the House, where he has said that if at all their demands are not met, jihad will be invoked. Listen in.
ऐसा लगता है कि आर्टिकल 25 और 26 को खत्म कर दिया गया है और मुसलमानों की जिंदगी हमारे प्यारे वतन में ही तंग कर दी गई है, जिसकी वजह से माननीय स्पीकर साहिबा, वो लोग जिनके पुरखों ने आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ी थी, मौलाना शदमती, वो कह रहे हैं कि जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में? मैडम, एक जुल्म की एक बर्दाश्त होती है और जब बर्दाश्त खत्म हो जाती है तो जुल्म।
धन्यवाद। BJP, in fact, has tore into SP. Listen in to what BJP Shehzad Poonawalla had to say.
Agenda is clear as daylight. Samajwadi Party MP Mr. Nadwi gets up in Parliament, supports Madani's statements and says that insaf nahi milega to jihad karna padega. He's justifying jihad. This is the same bunch of people who justified the Delhi terror attack. They said circumstances se ban jate आतंकी. They said नाइंसाफी हो रही है, जुल्म हो रहा है तो जिहाद करना पड़ेगा. And now they're once again legitimizing jihad. This is the mindset of Samajwadi Party. They've always supported terrorists. They were the ones who supported Simi. They supported the release of terrorists and the High Court had to put a stay on it. They are the ones who cried for Batla House encounter. Abu Azmi cried for Yaqub Memon. This is the true face of Samajwadi Party and the entire India Alliance. Inka haath hamesha आतंकियों के साथ. They are the ones who are standing and spin doctoring on jihad. Jihad को जायज दिखा रहे हैं.
In fact, I'm being joined by BJP National Spokesperson Shazia Ilmi. Shazia, this is an outrageous comment that has been made on the floor of the House. He has made an open jihad threat in the Parliament.
You're absolutely right. It is not just a very provocative statement, but very dangerous, incendiary threat wrapped up in the language of religious extremism. We all know our country is a constitutional democracy. It cannot be made into a religious battlefield. This gentleman has said such obnoxious things and have used the terminology, the threat of religious warfare, which is jihad. And that also on the floor of the parliament. And we all know disagreements must be made and addressed through law, debate and democracy. And what is it that they keep weaponizing religion for political victimhood? And this is dangerous. We will fight again. Our ancestors fought jihad. It is just being done to create fear amongst Muslims and paint the nation as anti-minority. There is a whole false narrative of persecution. And you're emotionally radicalizing communities, and this cannot be tolerated. Also, this gentleman, and I want to ask him, as does everyone else, what is the injustice that is being done? Does he have any point to make? Is there any logic to it? Is there any fact, not rhetoric, not a speech that he has to make? He has to come up with some kind of fact to substantiate something as bizarre and outlandish as this.
Absolutely, Shazia. In fact, this speaks volumes about the party in itself. And they have made it very, very clear that if at all their demands are not met, this is what they're going to do. You see the extremist ideology that the party is promoting on the floor of the House. Shazia.
Well, absolutely. And you are invoking freedom struggle to justify radical phrases. It's very insulting to every Indian, also to every Indian Muslim citizen. And I want to speak in that capacity too. I mean, we don't need to be reminded as to who we are. Why does he keep doing that? This gentleman talking about our freedom fighters who are Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Parsis. We all fought together as Indians and not as religious combatants, so to speak. And there is a limit, not to tolerance, but to provocation, So this country will not tolerate this kind of religious mobilization. Talking about Article 24 and 25, does it allow religious mobilization? Does it allow threats of this kind of retaliation? Does it allow these attempts to glorify the language of warfare, the terminology of jihad? Does it allow attempts like this, open provocative statements that are made to divide citizens on faith lines? So it is a place for policy and not provocation, and not religious warfare that this man is indulging in. It cannot be tolerated whatsoever. India's democracy gives the right to speak, not the license to incite, and this gentleman better know that he can't get away with it. All of us, including every Indian, including Muslims, must fight this, this kind of veiled threats that are being made because they have no reason, rationale whatsoever.
Very considered views there from you. But last question before we let you go. And the question is, what's the constituency that the Honorable MP of the Samajwadi Party is addressing with this guilt tripping that he's trying to administer to the rest of the nation?
Well, he thinks there is a constituency, and over the years, since India has been partitioned, since we've gotten our freedom, since we've had the first legislature, this is exactly the pathetic, scary, incendiary vote bank politics that is this party, Samajwadi, and those false secularist parties indulge in. They radicalize Muslims. They actually make these very inflammatory remarks, and they keep making it out to be as if some kind of persecution is taking place, where they cannot give a single fact. If you see the way minorities have benefited from all the central government and state welfare schemes, this never happened before to the extent that it has been done, their welfare. So they have no point whatsoever to make. And crime has no religion, justice has no religion, and India's law has no religion. This parliamentarian better watch his tongue, because this is not going to be allowed. And not in my name, not in any Muslim's name.
Right, absolutely. Thank you so much for clarifying there. Not in your name, not any Muslim's name. Obviously, the Samajwadi Party MP there taking some liberties. Thank you, Shazia, for joining us. Moving on, we're getting a breaking news development connected with the flight situation at the Ahmedabad airport. Several Indigo flights have been delayed, and this has been happening since morning at Ahmedabad, leading to passengers protesting. And many of them have been there since yesterday 5 p.m. In fact, this seems to be a delay specific to the Indigo airline, and leading to chaos at the terminal, and multiple flights running late. Let's listen to those protesters. Well, it seems like a lot of chaos there at the Ahmedabad airport. Swarali joins us live from outside the airport, first on phone. In fact, Swarali, is this an issue specific to Indigo Airlines, and what's the latest? Has the airline been able to sort this out for the passengers? Seems some audio issue there. We are not connecting properly there. Connectivity issue seems to be hampering. Swarali there will join us soon live with the proper audio from Ahmedabad. She is outside the Ahmedabad airport where all this chaos is ruling. Okay, we have Swarali live now, so let's go to Swarali. Swarali, my question was, is this specific to Indigo Airline, or is it generally happening in Ahmedabad? What are the reasons, and have the passengers been taken care of?
Yes, let me tell you, according to the sources and information received right now, this is a very Indigo-specific issue which passengers are facing. And since yesterday, that is from 5 p.m., the passengers are stranded at the Ahmedabad airport. And that's why we can see on our screens and visuals, they are irritated because for long hours, they are waiting since 5 p.m. yesterday. And right now, according to the information, Airbus A320, these are the the flights which are under the technical inspection, and also on the other hand, due to weather disruptions, the flights are delayed and people are and passengers are irritated, and it seems that not proper measures are taken because no proper facilities are provided over there for them.
Okay, thank you so much, Swarali. It seems like connected with the A320 issue and the maintenance software maintenance issue that had cropped up, creating a backlog which has hit the Indigo Airlines flights from Ahmedabad. Moving on to the next one, let's look at the report on India's World Annual Conclave 2025 that took place in Delhi, where External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar spotlighted India's emergence as the world's preferred hub for high-value global work, declaring that in an era of mobile capital and immobile borders, underscoring the country's demographic dividend, the External Affairs Minister also noted that India already constitutes about 1/6 of the global population, closer to 1/4 of the world's young working-age workforce. Take a listen.
So far, I have spoken about the mobility of people, but I also want to highlight that work can also be mobile. That, if the talent doesn't go out, the out comes to the talent. And we have actually seen this growth of what are called global capability centers in the last few years. I understand today that there are in this country about 1,700 global capability centers, which are about half, they constitute about half the global capability centers in the world. And these are centers where global business has found it more effective, more efficient, really to send the business out and to utilize the talent in a different geography. And obviously, given the availability of the talent and the efficiency of it in India, we are a strong attractor of that. Again, there are estimates that about 2 million people are currently employed in global capability centers, and I think the rough revenue estimates which people put for global capability centers is somewhere between $65 to $75 billion currently a year. And looking ahead, I mean, certainly as we are moving to an era of AI, of higher skills, of advanced manufacturing, and also of, as I said, of social services of various kinds, we do anticipate a world which will put a greater premium on mobility. And we see ourselves, we are 1/6 of the world's population. But I think if you look in terms of the younger working age population, we would be somewhere between 1/6 and 1/4, would be closer to 1/4 actually of the global workforce of a certain demography.
All right, tomorrow, December 4, is the Navy Day or Indian Navy Day, and the Force has readied a curtain raiser video called Forged by the Sea, and essentially showcasing with cutting-edge technology its unwavering spirit to defend India's maritime boundaries and beyond. Take a look.
The Indian Navy's journey begins where the land meets the endless blue, where silence has weight and courage has depth. Born of storm, shaped by pressure, forged by the sea. This is a force that stays ready, always. It sharpens its edge every moment, every wave tested, every horizon watched, every second ready. In the unseen depths, on the edge of the storm, they stand guard. The Navy's true power lies in its people. Men and women who carry the ocean in their resolve. And when the moment demands, their discipline becomes action. Their courage becomes command. This is the Indian Navy. Combat ready, cohesive, Atmanirbhar. Safeguarding seas for a Viksit, Samridh Bharat. Indian Navy, forged by the sea.
All right, moving on and down south to Bengaluru, where in a turf war with his deputy, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has given a statement after meeting Central Observer K.C. Venugopal, General Secretary of the Congress Party, and has firmly dismissed all reports of any political discussion with the central leader during his recent Delhi visit, stating no political talks took place. It seems Siddaramaiah is trying to push further the talks about leadership change in the Karnataka government. Remember the talk of a formula under which Siddaramaiah had to share his term with the Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar, and he has been snapping on his heels for a while now with many of the DKS camp sloganeering, organizing meetings, giving sound bites, and wanting the change of leadership, a change of guard in Karnataka government. These are pictures of Siddaramaiah, and with K.C. Venugopal, he has given a bite. Let's listen to him.
ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲ ವರದಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಸರ್ ಡಿ ಕೆ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ದೆಹಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಡಿ ಕೆ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ದೆಹಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ 3 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ನೀವೇನು ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಸರ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಕರೆದ್ರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ
Russia's President Putin is all set to visit India beginning tomorrow for 2 days. He's going to meet Prime Minister Modi, and one of the biggest outcomes of this visit is likely to be final approval of a new military agreement called Reciprocal Exchange of Logistics Agreement, or RELOS. This agreement will allow Indian warships and military aircraft to refuel, restock food and supplies, and carry out small repairs at Russian ports and air bases, and of course, vice versa.
Russian President Putin is scheduled to undertake an official state visit to India. This will mark the 23rd India-Russia annual visit, a mechanism established in 2000 that alternates between the two capitals and has continued almost uninterrupted even during periods of global tension. The most concrete deliverable expected from the visit is the final ratification of the Reciprocal Exchange of Logistics Agreement, a pact first proposed in 2019 and initialed in 2021. Under its terms, Indian warships and military aircraft will receive facilitated access to Russian ports and airfields for refueling, replenishment, and minor repairs, while Russian forces will gain similar rights at select Indian facilities. The agreement is especially valuable for India in the Arctic, where Russia maintains an extensive network of bases along the Northern Sea route, and for Russia in the Indian Ocean, where India operates the largest number of forward logistics points among non-Western navies. Unlike the more intrusive Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement that India signed with the United States, RELOS is framed as a purely reciprocal arrangement without automatic basing rights or permanent foreign troop presence, which makes it politically easier to sell to the Indian Parliament and public. Beyond logistics, the two sides are expected to advance several major defense production programs that have been delayed by the Ukraine conflict and sanctions-related payment difficulties. India is seeking additional licensed production of the 11356 M-class guided missile frigates for its navy, with 2 ships already built in Russia and 4 more to be constructed at Goa shipyard with extensive Russian components. Progress is also anticipated on the joint manufacture of Ka-2260 light utility helicopters, where 60 units are to be assembled in India under the Make in India initiative, and on the long-pending acquisition of an additional batch of upgraded Mi-17 V5 medium-lift helicopters. The BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, already in service with all the 3 Indian services and now being exported to countries such as the Philippines, is likely to see new orders for its extended range and air-launched variants. Nuclear energy cooperation, another traditional pillar, will move forward with the detailed project report for Units 5 and 6 of the Kudankulam nuclear power plant in Tamil Nadu, built with Russian VVER-1000 reactors. Perhaps most importantly, the visit will serve as a public demonstration that the India-Russia strategic partnership remains resilient despite the transformed global landscape. For Moscow, India represents one of the few major economies still willing to engage in large-scale defense and energy transactions without succumbing to secondary sanctions threats. For New Delhi, Russia remains a reliable supplier capable of transferring sensitive technologies that Western partners continue to withhold, and a crucial hedge against over-dependence on any single source of military equipment. The visit therefore underscores India's determination to preserve strategic autonomy in an increasingly polarized world, while allowing Russia to show that its diplomatic and economic isolation is far from complete. The timing of this visit is particularly significant because it takes place against the backdrop of Russia's ongoing military operation in Ukraine, now in its 4th year, and the sweeping Western sanctions that have isolated Moscow from most traditional supply chains and financial systems. Despite intense pressure from the United States and the European Union, India has refused to join the sanctions regime, continued to purchase discounted Russian crude oil in large volumes, and maintained defense cooperation at pre-2022 levels. This stance has allowed Russia to keep critical hard currency revenues flowing, while giving India access to military hardware and energy at prices lower than those available on the open market. The joint statement and the list of agreements signed during the visit will be closely passed in Western capitals, Beijing and other global centers of power, as an indicator of how far 2 of the world's largest nations are prepared to go in sustaining a relationship that has endured longer than most contemporary alliances.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corp was not just another military exercise, but a carefully planned signal about capability and intent along our border with Pakistan. The numbers tell part of the story, with over 20,000 soldiers organized into battle groups that can fight independently, suggesting that the army is moving away from old defensive tactics toward a more aggressive approach that can strike on multiple fronts at once. This is not the army that waits behind borders anymore, but one that is ready to take the fight into enemy territory if provoked. The scenario itself, a cross-border offensive in response to a Pakistani attack, makes clear that India is no longer content with merely defending its borders, but is prepared to hit back hard and fast. What makes Ram Prahar different from past exercises is how everything worked together like a well-oiled machine. Tanks like the T-90S Bhishma and upgraded T-72 with night vision capabilities worked alongside artillery guns like the K-9 Vajra and Pinaka rocket launchers that can hit targets 90 kilometers away. The army showed it could cross deep rivers under fire using special bridge-laying tanks that can set up a 20-meter bridge in less than 4 minutes while enemy guns are firing at them. Special forces were dropped at night from heights of 25,000 feet deep behind enemy lines, showing that Indian forces can strike anywhere, not just at the border. But the real story is not about tanks and guns alone, but about how technology has changed warfare itself. The exercise used drones by the dozens, from surveillance platforms to swarms of 50 kamikaze drones that can attack targets on their own, alongside systems that can jam enemy drones and shoot them down. The time between spotting an enemy target and firing at it was reduced to just 5 minutes using computers and artificial intelligence that help commanders make faster decisions. Electronic warfare units jammed enemy communications across multiple frequencies while keeping Indian networks secure, and cyber teams practiced attacking enemy command centers digitally. Modern war is no longer just about...
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जलजीरा मसाला
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corp was...
जब पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था मेरे बहन भाई.
Rajnath Singh slams Jawaharlal Nehru, claims he wanted to use public funds to build Babri Masjid. Congress calls Rajnath's remarks a lie. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's remarks on Hindu deities sparks a huge controversy. BJP calls out Congress's habitual insult of Hindu sentiments.
सर आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जो है जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए सर आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए
Massive controversy over Madani's pitch to have jihad taught in schools. Republic conference, the Jamiyat-e-Ulema-e-Hind chief. Major speculation over Jharkhand chief minister's meet with Prime Minister in Delhi. Congress calls for key meeting in the state on December 4. That's tomorrow. Amid Karnataka power tussle, Siddaramaiah meets Congress High Command, says will step down if ordered by Rahul. It's the most extensive coverage on the Modi-Putin meeting in Delhi. Republic Sputnik ahead on live updates. And Rupee falls to record low, crosses 90 mark against the dollar for the first time in history. All right, let's begin with the row raised by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, as he has claimed that the country's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, had sought public funds for rebuilding of the Babri Mosque, but Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel prevented the plan from going ahead. The Union Minister made the claims while addressing a unity march in Gujarat to commemorate Sardar Patel's 150th birth anniversary.
वल्लभ भाई पटेल उदार व्यक्ति भी थे. वे सच्चे अर्थों में सेकुलर थे, पंथ निरपेक्ष थे. वे तुष्टीकरण में विश्वास नहीं करते थे. जब पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करके बाबरी मस्जिद बनवाई जानी चाहिए, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था, मेरे बहन भाई।
The Congress, of course, has responded sharply to the comment made by Defence Minister and on Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of the country. And the Congress has said that this is a lie. Listen.
ये सब डिस्ट्रैक्शन है, असली मुद्दे हैं, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे हैं जिन पे चर्चा होनी चाहिए, जिन पे बात होनी चाहिए। और ये सब रोज ये कुछ ना कुछ डिस्ट्रैक्शन उठा लेते हैं ताकि हम फिर बयान दें, वो बयान दें, और जो असली मुद्दे हैं पब्लिक के, वो कोई उस पर कोई चर्चा ना हो।
It's a complete lie by Rajnath Singh ji. We all know that Pandit Nehru and Sardar Patel had a cordial relationship, and Pandit Nehru's logic was very simple. Public money should not be spent on any kind of mosque, temple, churches or gurudwaras. It should be people's contribution. People should contribute and build their beliefs. This thing, not government money should be there. Rajnath Singh ji is stooping to this level. He is spreading a lie. I condemn this kind of lies from Rajnath Singh ji.
सरकार के अंदर है, कोई दस्तावेज दे दें। हमारे पास दस्तावेज हैं कि सरदार पटेल ने इनके जो पेरेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, जो विचारधारा है, उस विचारधारा के विरुद्ध जो पत्र लिखा था और उसके अंदर उसको बैन किया था, वो डॉक्यूमेंट्री एविडेंस है। तो ये ऐसी बात मत करें। सरकार के अंदर शामिल लोग अगर इस प्रकार की बातें करेंगे और इस प्रकार का झूठा नैरेटिव देश के अंदर फैलाएंगे तो बहुत ही दुखदायी है।
BJP, of course, has hit back at the Congress with some evidence presented by Sudhanshu Trivedi, Member of Parliament of the party.
मैं नेहरू जी का एक कोट करता हूं जो उन्होंने दिल्ली में 1959 में नेशनल गैलरी में ये स्पीचेस एट द इनॉग्रेशन ऑफ सेमिनार एंड एग्जीबिशन एंड आर्किटेक्चर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बाय ललित कला अकादमी एंड ऑल इंडिया फाइन आर्ट्स एंड क्राफ्ट न्यू दिल्ली 17 मार्च 1959 17 मार्च 1959 को नेहरू क्या बोलते हैं एक कार्यक्रम में, सम ऑफ द टेम्पल्स ऑफ साउथ इंडिया however repel me in spite of beauty. I just can't stand. Why? I do not know. Cannot explain that. But they are oppressive. They suppress my spirit. They do not allow me to rise and keep me down in the dark corridors. I like the sun and air. In contrast, he found Taj Mahal as astoundingly beautiful. 17 मार्च 1959 को जवाहरलाल नेहरू क्या लिख रहे हैं? वो कह रहे हैं दक्षिण भारत के मंदिर कितने भी ऊंचे हो, मैं डिप्रेस्ड फील करता हूं। मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है कि मुझे डिप्रेशन क्यों लगता है उन कॉरिडोर्स में मूव करते समय। तो इसका अर्थ हुआ कि वहां से लेके और आज तक राम मंदिर के शिलान्यास में न जाना, राम मंदिर की ध्वजा का विरोध करना, बाबरी मस्जिद बनाने का संकल्प लेना, वो एक पुराना गाना था ना, ये रईसी है खानदानी, वो रईसी नहीं, ये कहानी है खानदानी।
A political controversy has erupted in Telangana, not the first time, with Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's casual remarks referring to Hindu gods and deities during an internal Congress meeting, which went viral, prompting sharp reactions from the BJP and the Bharat Rashtra Samiti, BRS, both. While addressing the newly appointed District Congress Committee chiefs and other senior leaders, Reddy drew a parallel between the diversity within the party and the plurality within Hinduism. Listen exactly to what Reddy had to say.
ఎంతమంది దేవుళ్ళు 3 కోట్లుండ్రా ఎందుకున్నాయి పెళ్లి చేసుకోవడానికి హనుమంతుడు ఉన్నాడు 2 పెళ్లిళ్ళు చేసుకునేటోనికి ఇంకొక ఆయన దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు మందు తాగేటోళ్ళకి ఓ దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు ఎల్లమ్మ పోషమ్మ మైసమ్మ కళ్ళు కొయ్యాలి కోడి కొయ్యాలి అనేటోళ్ళకు పప్పన్నం తినేటోళ్ళకు కూడా దేవుడు ఉండు అవునా అన్ని రకాల దేవుళ్ళు ఉన్నారు హిందువులలో ఎన్ని దేవతలు ఉండ్రు ఎంతమంది దేవుళ్ళు 3 కోట్లుండ్రా ఎందుకున్నాయి పెళ్లి చేసుకున్నోనికి హనుమంతుడు ఉన్నాడు, 2 పెళ్లిళ్ళు చేసుకునేటోనికి ఇంకొక ఆయన దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు, మందు తాగేటోళ్ళకి ఓ దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు, ఎల్లమ్మ పోషమ్మ మైసమ్మ కళ్ళు కొయ్యాలి కోడి కొయ్యాలి అనేటోళ్ళకు పప్పన్నం తినేటోళ్ళకు కూడా దేవుడు ఉండు. అవునా? అన్ని రకాల దేవుళ్ళు ఉన్నారు.
All right, BJP, of course, has not liked this and sees in this the trademark repeated attacks by the opposition, specifically the Congress party, on Sanatan Dharma. Listen in.
तेलंगाना के मुख्यमंत्री श्री रेवंत रेड्डी ने जिस प्रकार से हिंदू देवी देवताओं के बारे में अपमानजनक, अवांछनीय कमेंट किए हैं, उसे किसी भी कीमत पर बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जा सकता। और एक तरफ ये वही मुख्यमंत्री हैं जिन्होंने अभी जुबली हिल के चुनाव में ओपनली बोला था कांग्रेस मतलब मुसलमान, मुसलमान मतलब कांग्रेस। आपको पूरा तहे दिल से मुस्लिम समाज के साथ जाइए, कोई समस्या नहीं है। आप हम सफर, हम प्याला, हम निवाला, हम राज हो जाइए, हमें कोई समस्या नहीं है, मगर हिंदू धर्म के देवी देवताओं को गाली देंगे तो यह बर्दाश्त करने योग्य नहीं है।
देखिए, मौलाना मदनी हो या कांग्रेस पार्टी हो, दोनों के स्वर आज एक नजर आ रहे हैं। मैं तो धिक्कार शब्द से शुरू करूंगा कांग्रेस के लिए कि जिस प्रकार के शब्दों का प्रयोग तेलंगाना के मुख्यमंत्री कांग्रेस के एटीएम रेवंत रेड्डी जी ने कहा है आज हिंदू देवी देवताओं के लिए, ये न केवल आपत्तिजनक है, ये घृणक है। यह कांग्रेस पार्टी के मनसा के अंदर किस प्रकार से हिंदुओं के खिलाफ एक जहर भरा हुआ है वो दर्शाता है। रेवंत रेड्डी कहते हैं अपने एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोऑर्डिनेशन कमेटी की मीटिंग में कि यदि भगवानों के बीच ही कंसेंसस नहीं है तो हमारे बीच में कंसेंसस कैसे हो सकता है, हम कैसे कंसेंसस बना सकते हैं। यह हिंदू धर्म क्या है? ये सनातन धर्म में 3 करोड़ देवी देवताएं हैं। बैचलर के लिए हनुमान जी हैं, जो 2 शादी करते हैं उनके लिए कोई और भगवान है, कोई ऐसे भगवान हैं जो शराब पसंद करते हैं, कोई ऐसे भगवान हैं जो टॉडी पसंद करते हैं, वेजिटेरियंस दाल रोटी खाने वालों के लिए एक अलग भगवान है। ये किस प्रकार की भाषा है? रेवंत रेड्डी जी, यह जो आप ट्यूशन क्लास से सोनिया गांधी जी से और राहुल गांधी से सीख के आ रहे हैं कि जाइए और हनुमान जी, मां दुर्गा, शिव जी और विष्णु जी के खिलाफ बोलिए, आपको अभी भी समझ नहीं आया? सुदर्शन चक्र चला है कांग्रेस पार्टी के ऊपर, छिन्न विच्छिन्न होकर पड़े हुए हैं, किसी भी राज्य में जीत नहीं हो रही है। जनता जनार्दन त्रिशूल चला रही है आपके ऊपर, और कांग्रेस की लंका को ध्वस्त कर दिया है हनुमान जी ने। फिर भी हनुमान जी, शिव जी और विष्णु जी के खिलाफ ये जो आप जहर उगल रहे हैं रेवंत रेड्डी जी, इसका खामियाजा कांग्रेस पार्टी को भुगतना पड़ेगा।
देखिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी एक मुहिम चला रखा है हिंदुओं के खिलाफ, और जो भी इस तरह की बात बोलेगा ना वो भारत के संविधान में भरोसा रखता हो, ना वो भारत की संस्कृति से वास्ता रखता हो। वो कहीं न कहीं उसका इमोशन आक्रांताओं से, मुगल आक्रांताओं से जुड़ा रहा हो, वही व्यक्ति ऐसा बोल सकता है।
पहले भी कहा था कि कांग्रेस मुस्लिम जिनकी आप बात कर रहे हैं, रेवंत रेड्डी के बयान की बात कर रहे हैं। रेवंत रेड्डी पहले भी ये बयान दे चुके हैं, कांग्रेस इज मुस्लिम, मुस्लिम इज कांग्रेस।
हाँ, तो डिक्लेयर करा दे कांग्रेस पार्टी को मुस्लिम लीग कांग्रेस पार्टी।
सर, मौलाना मदनी का कहना है कि स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए।
मौलाना मदनी को किसी इस्लामिक कंट्री में जाके एक अच्छे स्पीकर के रूप में उनको भेज दिया जाए। भारत में ऐसे लोगों की जरूरत नहीं है, ये विभेद पैदा करते हैं, हिंदुओं को गाली देने का काम करते हैं, और जिहाद का यहाँ कोई जगह नहीं है। जो जिहाद की बात करे उसको कानून के शिकंजों में बंद कर देनी चाहिए।
नहीं, ये लोगों को
हिंदू का अपमान, हिंदू आस्था का अपमान कांग्रेस को और कांग्रेस के जो फ्रेंडली पार्टी है वो एक हैबिट बन गया है। जब भी देखो, कर्नाटक में देखो, केरल में, अभी तेलंगाना में।
All right, moving down south to Bengaluru and Karnataka, where news coming in from Mandya, in fact, that a group of Hindu devotees, part of the Hanuma Sankirtana Yatra, they were halted by police, with local residents distributing fruits and buttermilk to devotees along the 4-kilometer route. And the police had to intervene because some of them were seen going towards a mosque at the Ganjam Road area. These are pictures coming in from there, and this seems like the yatra has turned into a protest because the police has stopped them from moving towards the mosque area, and the devotees are now... Okay, we have Abhishek joining us live from Bengaluru on this. Abhishek, can you unspool the story for us? What's this Sankirtan Yatra? What group is this? And why should they be wanting to go into a mosque? They can just use the road and go their way.
Abhishek, the Sankirtana Yatra was organized by Hindu Janajagrati Vedike from Nimishamba temple, which is located in Srirangapatna, and it ended up at Sri Ranganatha Swami temple, which is also located in Srirangapatna. The rally, the primary purpose of the rally was to make sure that the Hindus get back the temple which was destroyed by Tipu Sultan when he was ruling over this province. It is believed that the Jamia Masjid, which is located in Srirangapatna, now was destroyed, was previously a Hanuman temple which was destroyed during Tipu Sultan, and after which he got the mosque constructed. Now for the last 11 years, the Hindu Janajagrati Samiti and Hanuma Maladharis are taking the procession every year on Hanuma Jayanti to mark the location, to spread the awareness that this location, this masjid was previously a temple and this belongs to the Hindus. At this point of time, a procession for around 3.5 to 4 kilometers, which starts at Nimishamba temple and which ends at Ranganatha Swami temple in Srirangapatna, takes the lane from almost the inside the entire village, which also passes by the Jamia Masjid, and this is the exact location which is utmost sensitive at this point of time, because more than 1,500 policemen were deployed so that these Hanuman Maladharis don't just barge into the mosque to destroy it, because the slogans that were being shouted by the Hanuman Maladharis was, "We will be destroying the mosque and the Hindu temple will be rebuilt again." And at this point of time, giving such a slogan right in front of the masjid where it is sensitive, the police wanted to take the situation into control, and that is why the Hanuman Maladharis weren't allowed to the mosque. However, it continued and concluded at Srirangapatna Sri Ranganatha Swami temple peacefully.
Okay, Abhishek, stay with us. In fact, there is a breaking news development again coming from Karnataka, so I have to come back to you. There is a complaint against Bollywood actor Ranveer Singh for allegedly making derogatory remarks on Deva, and the complaint has been lodged against him by advocate Prashant Patel, and this is at the High Grounds police station in Bengaluru, from where Abhishek is reporting. And in the complainant has alleged that the actor made derogatory remarks about the Ullalathi Deva during the International Film Festival of India in Goa. And this happened on November 28. Abhishek, can you tell us what's this latest complaint about against Ranveer Singh? Was he speaking in the context of some film, or was he directly targeting some Hindu deity?
Was in a filmfare function when Ranveer Singh was addressing Rishabh Shetty, who is a hero in the movie Kantara and Kantara 1. Majority of the South Indians know the importance the Mangaloreans or the people of Mangalore give to their daivas, because it is of the utmost tradition and belief that they keep in their daivas, which they also call as Ganas. When addressing Rishabh Shetty, Ranveer made fun of the word Ullalti, which means indirectly meaning to say he made a derogatory statement where it meant a female ghost or a demon is what he addressed as, making fun of the entire character of Ranveer Rishabh Shetty's character in the movie Kantara. Prashant Metala, senior advocate from the High Court, has filed a complaint in the High Grounds Police Station of Bengaluru, mentioning that this has hurt the sentimental feelings of not only the people of Mangaluru but all the people who believe in tradition. And it was also, we should also not forget the fact that Rishabh Shetty had previously requested people not to make fun of the belief or the tradition of the Mangaluru people, because they have the highest respects towards the Daiva or the Gana or Ullalti or any other character which has been depicted in the movie holds a traditional and religious importance in the history and in the entire Mangalore family. So at this point of time, FIR has been registered, the complaint has been taken. Will there be a FIR registered is the question. And also we've seen Ranveer apologizes on the social media that he didn't know that the importance of the word Ullalti or Daiva meant this much to the people of Karnataka or Mangaluru, but we'll have to see how the legal proceedings happen in this point of time, Abhishek.
All right. Thank you so much, Abhishek, with those details. And from Bengaluru, we come back to Delhi, where in a fiery speech in the Lok Sabha, Samajwadi Party MP Maulana Mahibullah has spoken in support of jihad as a last resort and against systemic crimes, of course. He says that what Maulana Mahmood Madni has asserted on the concept of jihad is sacred and in Islam and should be included in school education to help children understand its true meaning. Essentially, the Samajwadi Party MP Mahibullah backing Maulana Arshad Madni, who had made this pro-jihad comments last evening. Let's listen to the Samajwadi Party MP speaking in Parliament.
of amendment bill जेपीसी कमेटी बनाई थी, जिसमें हमारी पार्टी ने पहले ही कहा था कि सरकार की नीयत और नीति दोनों ही सही नहीं है। 6 महीने का टाइम मिला उम्मीद पोर्टल पे 30% ओनली वक्फ जायदादों का, मदरसों का, मस्जिदों, कब्रिस्तानों का रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ है। उस पर भी सर्वर डाउन चल रहा है और वो डेट खत्म हो गई है। 70% वक्फ जायदादों का रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं हुआ है। ऐसा लगता है कि आर्टिकल 25 और 26 को खत्म कर दिया गया है और मुसलमानों की जिंदगी हमारे प्यारे वतन में ही तंग कर दी गई है, जिसकी वजह से माननीय स्पीकर साहिबा, वो लोग जिनके पुरखों ने आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ी थी, मौलाना अरशद मदनी, वो कह रहे हैं कि जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में? मैडम, एक जुल्म की एक बर्दाश्त होती है और जब बर्दाश्त खत्म हो जाती है तो जुल्म।
धन्यवाद।
Rakshita is joining us live from outside the parliament on this. Rakshita, very provocative comments being made there by the Samajwadi Party MP on the floor of the House. Have you elicited some reactions coming in from the BJP, and how does the Samajwadi Party officially sees this?
Well, it's a political slugfest, and the BJP has sharply criticized what the Samajwadi Party MP has said. In fact, the BJP says that this is a direct attack, a very open and direct attack on the values of the Constitution that is by B.R. Ambedkar, or that is based on the Ambedkar principles. The BJP MP and BJP MPs, of course, condemn it, and spokesperson Shahzad Poonawalla also has said that he is openly backing zulm hoga to jihad hoga narrative of Madni of the Jamaat Ulema Hind, who just made these remarks over the weekend that had in fact triggered an uproar. And the same thing now has been echoed while he was lamenting what has been happening after Waqf. Now he has cited that there was a suppression of Muslims in the country. That is what Nadvi, the SP MP, has said. And BJP has said that this is something that has been cleared. It's an act, it's a law that has been passed in both houses of the parliament, and there's no point in raking this up, as he has lamented how there is a difficulty in registration. Nadvi was trying to talk about how the website has not been working, so on and so forth. But now they have now this is of course completely an incendiary remark that has been made by a sitting MP on the floor of the House. Samajwadi Party right now officially hasn't reacted or said any, reacted to this statement, but the BJP has been quick to react and condemn it, calling it an open assault on the principles of B.R. Ambedkar, an open assault on Constitution, and a very, very divisive, and it's an open threat. And as he tries to divide and openly threaten jihad and communal war against the people of the country.
Absolutely, Rakshita. And in fact, the BJP has responded to these provocative comments made by the SP. MP, we have, I think, Shehzad Poonawala bite. Let's listen to him.
Agenda is clear as daylight. Samajwadi Party MP Mr. Nadwi gets up in Parliament, supports Madani's statements and says that insaf nahi milega to jihad karna padega. He's justifying jihad. This is the same bunch of people who justified the Delhi terror attack. They said circumstances se ban jate आतंकी. They said नाइंसाफी हो रही, जुल्म हो रहा है, तो jihad करना पड़ेगा. And now they're once again legitimizing jihad. This is the mindset of Samajwadi Party. They've always supported terrorists. They were the ones who supported Simi. They supported the release of terrorists and the High Court had to put a stay on it. They are the ones who cried for Batla House encounter. Abu Azmi cried for Yaqub Memon. This is the true face of Samajwadi Party and the entire India Alliance. Inka haath hamesha आतंकियों के साथ. They are the ones who are standing and spin doctoring on jihad. Jihad को जायज़ दिखा रहे हैं.
Remember the Sanchar Sati app row, and the government is now forced to roll back the preloading of that app on mobile phones following the protests that emerged out of opposition space in the parliament. The government's view was that while the app itself is a significant move in terms of cyber security, if a perception is created or a negative perception is created about that being a spyware, then people would not use it, which would prove counterproductive. So the government now deciding to roll back the mandatory pre-installation of the app on the mobile phones, though of course it's going to remain available for whosoever wants. Already about 11 million plus phones having that app.
Controversy over the Sanchar Sati app continues to escalate as the opposition fearmongers over privacy breach. The government recently introduced the app as a security and awareness platform whose purpose is to help mobile users manage their digital identity. The app promises to protect users and tracking misuse of mobile numbers and prevent fraudulent SIMs. The government pointed out that it's essential to fight cybercrime, stop fraud calls, block suspicious apps, and help track lost or stolen phones.
संचार साथी एक ऐसा ऐप है जिसके आधार पर जन भागीदारी के आधार पर आज देश की एक एक जनता और नागरिक अपने आप को सुरक्षित रख सकता है फ्रॉड से, स्टोलन मोबाइल से, अपने स्टोलन मोबाइल को रिकॉर्ड कर सकता है, रिपोर्ट कर सकता है. पर इसकी सफलता का श्रेय अगर किसी को जाता है तो जनता को जाता है सर, क्योंकि उनके उपयोग के आधार पर ही हम लोग सफल हो पाए.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे. केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात. वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है. अरे मेरी राजा.
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corp was not just another military exercise, but a carefully planned signal about capability and intent along our border with Pakistan. The numbers tell part of the story. with over 20,000 soldiers organized into battle groups that can fight independently, suggesting that the army is moving away from old defensive tactics toward a more aggressive approach that can strike on multiple fronts at once. This is not the army that waits behind borders anymore, but one that is ready to take the fight into enemy territory if provoked. The scenario itself, a cross-border of
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years.
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend, on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च। इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ। 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corp was not just another military exercise, but a carefully planned signal about capability and intent along our border with Pakistan. The numbers tell part of the story, with over 20,000 soldiers organized into battle groups that can fight independently, suggesting that the army is moving away from old defensive tactics toward a more aggressive approach that can strike on multiple fronts at once. This is not the army that waits behind borders anymore, but one that is
India's most watched news network now partners with global giant Sputnik for the high-stake visit of President Vladimir Putin. All eyes on New Delhi as major defense deals and strategic agreements take center stage. Stay tuned for the fastest and the most accurate coverage of President Putin's India visit only on Republic TV.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में?
Samajwadi Party parliamentarian Nadwi makes open jihad threat in parliament, says Muslims will be forced to do jihad on the Waqf issue.
सर आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जो है जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए।
Madani's pitch to have jihad taught in schools. Another big controversy. Republic confronts the Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind chief. He goes silent.
पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था मेरे बहन भाई।
Rajnath Singh slams Jawaharlal Nehru, claims he wanted to use public funds to build Babri Masjid. Congress calls Rajnath's remarks a lie. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's remarks on Hindu deities sparks a big controversy. BJP says it's habitual of Congress to insult Hindus and Hindu gods. Speculation over Jharkhand Chief Minister's meeting with the Prime Minister. Congress calls key meeting in Jharkhand. Is it possible? Realignment possible in Jharkhand? Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah meets Congress top leaders, says will step down if asked to by Rahul Gandhi. It's the most extensive coverage of the Modi-Putin meeting in Delhi. Republic, Sputnik of Russia join hands for live coverage. Rupee falling to a record low, crosses 90 against the dollar for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, here on Republic TV, for the longest time, we have spoken about the infiltration threat. Infiltrators who are in India, infiltrators from Myanmar, infiltrators from Bangladesh. And they are in millions and millions in different parts of the country. And Republic TV in the last few days and weeks and months has been doing a reality check to expose these infiltrators on how they are living in camps. They are living in different parts of the country. In this particular investigation that we are now bringing you right now, investigation from Hyderabad, where there are at least 31 camps in Hyderabad alone, 30,000 of them in 31 camps in Hyderabad alone. It's a Republic investigation where they confess coming to India via forests, through tunnels, finding a livelihood easily here in India. Believe it or not, they're confessing to all of this on tape while saying that thousands of their family members also are on Indian soil. Here's the story.
देश में हाल बहुत बुरा है, मार दे रहा, वो कर सब चला दिए, कुछ भी नहीं होना, दफा हो जा रहा, कलमा छोड़ो यहाँ से चली जाओ, मुसलमान मिशन भी नहीं रहे, मुझे दिख रहा है जला दे, जान से मार दिया, हजारों न्यूज़ में देख रहे हैं। तो यहाँ कैसे आए हैं? बस से, ट्रेन से, पैदल, जंगल से, पानी का नदी से, 8 दिन 8 रात लगता है। कितने लोग के साथ आए हैं? अपन कैसा भी नहीं, एक दो करके ऐसे चुपके दो रास्ता पे निकल जाना। आपका फैमिली के साथ आए? नहीं, अलग अलग। कितने फैमिली मेंबर्स रहते हैं आपके? बहुत बहुत है यहाँ पर, बहुत हजारों।
नहीं, आपके फैमिली मेंबर्स कितने हैं यहाँ?
मेरा 6
वाइफ और बच्चे। तो आपको यहाँ पे कैसे
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, किसी को ना कोई लुसन करे, ना किसी को डिस्टर्ब करे, अपना मैंने से अपन जी रहा हूँ।
अच्छा, ये शॉप आप यहाँ आके रखा। अच्छा, तो आप क्या यहाँ पे कुछ सपोर्ट मिल रहा है गवर्नमेंट की?
कुछ भी सपोर्ट तो नहीं हमें, कुछ तो बुरा नहीं है, ना कुछ परेशानी है। पुलिस वाला आ रहा जा रहा, पुस्तक करके चले आ रहे। साल में एक बार एमटी में ले लेता अपन को, एमटी मिल कैसा।
लोकल सपोर्ट है कुछ पॉलिटिकली?
नहीं, लोकल वाला क्या सपोर्ट देता, अपना प्लाट लेके ऐसा किराया देके जुगड़े वाला क्या पड़ेगा।
आपका नाम? और कुछ
तो परेशानी नहीं।
तो लोकली भी आपको कुछ ये नहीं है कि खाना पीना और ये सब?
ये वो रमजान में आके कोई बांटता, कोई इसका जकात अगर आए तो बांटता, नहीं तो मिलने वाले को मिले, नहीं मिले सारे छोड़ गए, इसका लफड़ा झगड़ा होता, कोई फर्क नहीं।
आप ये शॉप कब रखे?
ये 2018।
तो आपका घर इसी शॉप से चलता है? कितने बच्चे हैं आप?
मेरा बच्चे 4 बच्चे। तो हम लोग किधर से?
दिल्ली से, एनजीओ से।
अगर क्या है, अपने की भी एक शर्त है, कोई डिपार्टमेंट गवर्नमेंट आया अपना ऑफिस से एनजीओ मिनिस्टर का, मिनिस्टर से मिलके अपन से परमिशन लेना, फिर भी मैं परमिशन दे दिया, बस भाई आया बोल के। किसी को डरना नहीं, किसी को लड़ाई झगड़ा करने का नहीं। आप आए मेरे से पूछताछ करे, हम भी सीधा सीधा बोल दिए, मगर इसमें न्यूज में जाके क्या बोलता है, ये आतंकवादी है, वो है, ये है ना। अपन यहाँ लड़ने का झगड़ा करने का नहीं आया, या कब्जा करने का नहीं आया। अपना जब तो देश आजाद नहीं हुआ तब तो यहाँ रहना जीना है, आजाद होगा चलिए आना सीक्वेंस से। ये कहानी ले लेकर अपन आया, न्यूज में पड़ोसो थोड़े लोग आया था, न्यूज में मेरे से ऐसा पूछताछ करे, आतंकवादी बोल कर डाल दी। तो कौन सा तरीका मैडम?
ऐसे नहीं करते,
ये गलत है,
नहीं गलत।
ठीक है, शुक्रिया।
2009 से। तो आप कहाँ से? हाँ, तो आप यहाँ पे डॉक्टर इन सबको?
हाँ, जनरल फिजिशियन हूँ मैं, मेरे पास पेशेंट्स आते हैं। हाँ। सभी बुखार, बॉडी पेन, ये लोग को इचिंग ज़्यादा है। अच्छा। ये लोग कचरा वो पूरा सुनते ना, इचिंग ज़्यादा होती है, तो दवाई मेरे पास से लेते। आज दवाई लेते, कल परसों वो कचरा बेच के पैसे थे, पैसे का बहुत दिक्कत है। थोड़ा फाइनेंशियल हेल्प होना ना, तो फिर मेडिकल कैंप कराना, एवरी मंथ एक कैंप कराना है।
अच्छा, ठीक है। तो आप क्या नॉर्मली कितने कैंप्स हैं यहाँ पे पूरे? कितने लोग हैं
यहाँ पे? 21 कैंप से बनना।
21 है, अच्छा। 31 बोल रहे थे? 21
थोड़े लोग चले थे, 15 लोग।
अच्छा, ठीक है। 21 में पूरे कितने लोग हैं?
पूरे होंगे कम से कम
30,000 हो गए। तो सारे आपके पास ही आते हैं?
नहीं, मेरे पास थोड़े आते हैं, उधर रूट पे उधर सब जगह, जिसका डॉक्टर जब
मोस्टली क्या प्रॉब्लम्स होती है?
क्या है, कोल्ड फीवर होता है बॉडी पे और इचिंग ज़्यादा होती है, यही है कम्युनिकेशन। हार्ड वर्क करते हैं, शाम को जब आते हैं तो बहुत इलनेस हो जाता है, वीकनेस हो जाता है।
So over 30,000 of them, 31 camps in Hyderabad's old city alone. Now this is an investigation. Our reporter Aishwarya was there inside the Rohingya camp in Hyderabad's old city, where they go on record, in fact, and confess that they came from Myanmar through Bangladesh. How many of them are still there, Aishwarya? If you can tell us a bit about what you saw when you went there. How many camps are there, first of all? How many infiltrators are there? And what kind of documents have they now been able to gather from officials there?
What we are learning is that there were almost 31 camps, and each camp had almost more than 13 families, where there were more than 13 families in each camp, and there were also more than they were living there in those camps for more than a decade, while in their own voice, they have confessed that they have come via several modes of transport, be it train or be it via road or via trains. But then what we are also learning is that they have been living here more than a decade. All these camps have been living here for more than a decade. Most of them who came between 2012 and 14, what they said that they could not live in this city anymore, would live in this country anymore, and that's why they had secretly tried to migrate here into the secretly migrate here and try to come into India and start a livelihood here. But that's what they confessed to us, and they are saying, they also said that they have started working, they have taking menial jobs, and they are waiting.
Unable to get your video very clearly because of bandwidth issues there, Aishwarya. Who are they getting any political support? Are they getting any political support? How are they getting their food, their rations? Where do they have documents?
The compensation
all of them have the document of them being a migrant from Myanmar, and being regarding the political support, there are speculations that the local people, who are there, are extending their support. However, they have not yet openly confessed it, but there are speculations that the local MLAs, the local MPs and local leaders have extended their support to them. Most of them they are being funded by the NGOs, and while most of the other people have taken up menial jobs to fund themselves. This is how they are living, and in these camps itself, they have elected their own leaders to run their camps, and that's how they that's how they work there, because each camp in all the 31 camps, they have elected their own leaders. They have chosen their own leaders, and they will listen to their own leaders. And while they
I'm not getting your video frame there. So what I'll do is I'll play out a report that you sent from inside the Rohingya camp. This is the Rohingya camp. There are 31 camps, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. 31 Rohingya camps in Hyderabad's old city alone, where the estimate of how many infiltrators are there, about 30,000 of them, and more. I'm going to play that out now. Here's a report that Aishwarya sent from inside the Rohingya camp, one of the Rohingya camps.
We are standing at camp number 1 here, where almost 41 families are residing. As we spoke here earlier, what they are saying is that they have come here for livelihood, and almost 41 families are living here, and there are almost 31 camps in and around this particular area in Hyderabad. And this is the first camp that we are visiting. We can see that there are almost 41 families doing the daily work. And there are several children, and they're saying that their husbands have gone out for work, and what we're learning that there are almost over 5,000 families living in this particular area of Hyderabad in a span of over 31 camps. So what they're saying is that they have come from Burma, they have come here in search of livelihood. This is the camp, another camp that we are visiting here in the same areas. What are the primary occupation is the ginger selling, as we could see here. This is what they do, and there are almost 13 families living here is what we are learning. Their kids and they sell ginger is what we are learning here for their livelihood. It is one of the many camps that I've been visiting that we are showing to our viewers in Hyderabad. this is the camp, another camp that we are visiting here in the same areas. What are their primary occupation is the ginger selling, as we could see here. This is what they do, and they are almost 13 families living here. Is what we are learning. Their kids and they sell ginger is what we are learning here for their livelihood. It is one of the many camps that I've been visiting that we are showing to our viewers in Hyderabad.
Government has done a U-turn, ladies and gentlemen. They've buckled to pressure on the Sanchar Sati app. They've rolled back the clause where mobile manufacturers had to preload the Sanchar Sati app on the phone. Now, that was a controversial mandate that was given to mobile manufacturers, and some reports suggested that companies like Apple had opposed the move of the government to preload some of the apps to phones that were sold in India. And today the government has rolled back that clause, giving out further details. Here's a full story. Here's what the minister said and how the stories played out in the last 24 to 36 hours.
Controversy over the Sanchar Sati app continues to escalate as the opposition fearmongers over privacy breach. The government recently introduced the app as a security and awareness platform whose purpose is to help mobile users manage their digital identity. The app promises to protect users and tracking misuse of mobile numbers and prevent fraudulent SIMs. The government pointed out that it's essential to fight cybercrime, stop fraud calls, block suspicious apps, and help track lost or stolen phones.
संचार साथी एक ऐसा ऐप है जिसके आधार पर जन भागीदारी के आधार पर आज देश की एक एक जनता और नागरिक अपने आप को सुरक्षित रख सकता है फ्रॉड से, स्टोलन मोबाइल से, अपने स्टोलन मोबाइल को रिकॉर्ड कर सकता है, रिपोर्ट कर सकता है। पर इसकी सफलता का श्रेय अगर किसी को जाता है तो जनता को जाता है सर, क्योंकि उनके उपयोग के आधार पर ही हम लोग सफल हो पाए।
अपोजिशन ये जो इशू ढूंढ करके लाने का आवश्यकता नहीं है। विंटर सेशन पार्लियामेंट में बिजनेस तय किया गया है, बहुत सारा मुद्दे हैं और कई मुद्दे जो अपोजिशन ने भी उठाया है उस पर हम बातचीत करके आगे क्या करना है इस पर विचार करेंगे। नए नए मुद्दे ढूंढ करके पार्लियामेंट को डिस्टर्ब करने के लिए बहाना बनाने का कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। हर मुद्दे अपने जगह में इम्पोर्टेंट है, लेकिन मुद्दे को आप हथियार बना करके पार्लियामेंट को स्टॉल करेंगे, ये तो ठीक नहीं है।
But the opposition is still pressing on the security concerns, where today the Congress asked for a formal discussion in the upper house. In a notice to Parliament, Congress stated some of the privacy and security concerns linked to the directive.
पहली बात तो आपने आदेश में लिखा है कि ये डिलीट नहीं हो सकती, पर मान लीजिए कि डिलीट हो सकती है, तो भैया फिर आप अपलोड क्यों कर रहे हो? जबरदस्ती अपलोड क्यों कर रहे हो? अगर किसी को वो डाउनलोड करनी होगी तो वो ऐप स्टोर पर जाकर डाउनलोड कर सकता है। आप जबरदस्ती अपलोड करके फिर ये कहोगे कि अब ये डिलीट हो सकती है। इतनी देर में अगर फोन का सारा डेटा चुरा लिया गया तो क्या मंत्री जिम्मेवारी लेंगे? बगैर अनुमति के ये अनिवार्य ऐप हिंदुस्तान के नागरिकों के सेल फोन पर जबरदस्ती अपलोड कैसे की जा सकती है? कौन से कानून के तहत ये किया जा रहा है? क्या कोई साइबर सिक्योरिटी ऑडिट किया गया? क्या स्टेक होल्डर से कोई चर्चा हुई? जवाब नहीं में है। इसलिए ये मामला आज सदन में मैंने उठाकर सरकार से जवाबदेही देने की बात कही।
Speaking on the concerns, the party said that government must clarify the legal authority for mandating the app. With threats of digital fraud looming, the government has asserted confidence on the use of the app. The question is, why is the opposition spooked by an app that keeps fraud in check?
Ladies and gentlemen, there was a controversial comment made by Madani asking for jihad to be taught in schools across India. And just when we were breaking, the reactions confronted Madani on this issue. A statement that was made on the floor of Parliament by a Samajwadi Party MP and his name is Nadvi. Now, Nadvi, on the floor of the House, says Muslims will be forced to do jihad over the Waqf issue. He was speaking about the Waqf issue, complained about how the portal that was the Ummid portal, he says, isn't working. He says only 30% of those who have Waqf properties have been able to register. He says 70% of Waqf properties have not been registered on the portal. And he says there is injustice. Now, all of these are comments that he was making, building up to that one statement which he made on the floor of the Parliament, saying Muslims will have to do jihad. This was a sitting MP inside Parliament warning of a religious war in Parliament. Listen into this.
बिल जेपीसी कमेटी बनाई थी जिसमें हमारी पार्टी ने पहले ही कहा था कि सरकार की नियत और नीति दोनों ही सही नहीं है। 6 महीने का टाइम मिला उम्मीद पोर्टल पे 30% ओनली वक्फ जायदादों का, मदरसों का, मस्जिदों, कब्रिस्तानों का रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ है। उस पर भी सर्वर डाउन चल रहा है और वो डेट खत्म हो गई है। 70% वक्फ जायदादों का रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं हुआ है। ऐसा लगता है कि आर्टिकल 25 और 26 को खत्म कर दिया गया है और मुसलमानों की जिंदगी हमारे प्यारे वतन में ही तंग कर दी गई है, जिसकी वजह से माननीय स्पीकर साहिबा, वो लोग जिनके पुरखों ने आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ी थी, मौलाना अरशद मदनी, वो कह रहे हैं कि जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में? मैडम, एक जुल्म की एक बर्दाश्त होती है और जब बर्दाश्त खत्म हो जाती है तो जुल्म।
धन्यवाद।
Rakshita is joining me live. Rakshita, Madani makes a statement, says jihad should be taught in schools, and then a sitting MP says Muslims will do jihad. Now, all of these comments have followed a pattern in the last few days, and it's playing out in Parliament. What kind of responses are you getting?
Well, yes, the word jihad, it seems, is the favorite one for Madni. What we've seen in the recent days, he is reiterating and justifying jihad. And more endorsement is coming from the Samajwadi Party MP, the sitting MP, on the floor of the House, making an open threat for waging religious war against the state, and also talking about Waqf. He begins by talking about Waqf, and then he goes on to talk about so-called persecution of Muslims. Now, the reactions that are coming in from the BJP, they're saying that it's an open threat, and it's a direct assault on the constitution, the principles, the very principles of B.R. Ambedkar, that those have been threatened by what Nadvi has said. And remember, this is the same Samajwadi Party MP who had drawn a lot of flack from the Muslim community itself. He had drawn a lot of criticism from Barelvi also, and they had called for his removal from the post of an imam from a mosque, as he had convened namaz here at inside the Parliament. Now, that is something that he has been in the news for the wrong reasons many a times, and now he has made this open threat, a very, very divisive, and in fact, this is more than divisive. This is, justifying violence, religious extremism, and that is what the BJP is sharply criticizing, saying that in both houses of the Parliament, the Waqf Act has been passed. It's a lawful process that has been carried out, and it is unjust to cast aspersions on that as well, to cast doubts on that. There's no need for raking doubts up once again in the floor of the House. And of course, Niranjan, as you said, that he could be talking about Waqf, and he can raise concerns if he wants to. But openly, threatening war against the state is something that is completely incendiary.
Thank you for joining us with those details. In fact, we also confronted Madani, who made a comment this morning that he wants jihad to be taught in schools. Take a listen.
सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जो है जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए। सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए। सर, आपसे स्टेटमेंट, सर आपकी जो भी राय है उसी पे बात करना चाह रहे हैं। सर आपकी जो राय है, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में, एक सेकेंड सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जो है जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए। सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए। सर, आपसे स्टेटमेंट, सर आपकी जो भी राय है उसी पे बात करना चाह रहे हैं। सर आपकी जो राय है, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में, एक सेकेंड सर आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जो है जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए सर। आपसे स्टेटमेंट सर, आपकी जो भी राय है उसकी बात करना चाह रहे हैं सर आपकी जो राय है, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में, एक सेकेंड
Agenda is clear as daylight. Samajwadi Party MP Mr. Nadvi gets up in Parliament, supports Madani's statements and says that insaf nahi milega to jihad karna padega. He's justifying jihad. This is the same bunch of people who justified the Delhi terror attack. They said circumstances se ban jate atanki. They said na insafi ho rahi hai, zulm ho raha hai, to jihad karna padega. And now they're once again legitimizing jihad. This is the mindset of Samajwadi Party. They've always supported terrorists. They were the ones who supported Simi. They supported the release of terrorists and the High Court had to put a stay on it. They are the ones who cried for Batlao's encounter. Abu Azmi cried for Yaqub Memon. This is the true face of Samajwadi Party and the entire India Alliance. Inka haath hamesha aatankiyon ke saath. They are the ones who are standing and spin doctoring on jihad. Jihad ko jayaz dikha rahe hain.
The India World Annual Conclave 2025, S. Jaishankar made a critical remark on India's youth. Here's the full statement, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar.
So far, I have spoken about the mobility of people. But I also want to highlight that work can also be mobile. That, if the talent doesn't go out, the out comes to the talent. And we have actually seen this growth of what are called global capability centers in the last few years. I understand today that there are in this country about 1,700 global capability centers, which are about half, they constitute about half the global capability centers in the world. And these are centers where global business has found it more effective, more efficient, really to send the business out and to utilize the talent in a different geography. And obviously, given the availability of the talent and the efficiency of it in India, we are a strong attractor of that. Again, there are estimates that about 2 million people are currently employed in global capability centers. And I think the rough revenue estimates which people put for global capability centers is somewhere between $65 to $75 billion currently a year. And looking ahead, I mean, certainly as we are moving to an era of AI, of higher skills, of advanced manufacturing, and also of, as I said, of social services of various kinds, we do anticipate a world which will put a greater premium on mobility. And we see ourselves, we are 1/6 of the world's population. But I think if you look in terms of the younger working age population, we would be somewhere between 1/6 and 1/4, would be closer to 1/4 actually of the global workforce of a certain demography.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corps was not just another military exercise, but a carefully planned signal.
जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना, शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में?
Samajwadi parliamentarian makes open jihad threat in parliament, says Muslims will be forced to do jihad.
सर आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जो है जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए।
Massive controversy over Madani's pitch to have jihad taught in schools. Republic confronts Jamaat-e-Ulama-e-Hind chief.
जवाहरलाल नेहरू बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था। मेरे बहन भाई,
Rajnath Singh slams Nehru, claims he wanted to use public funds to build Babri Masjid. Congress calls Rajnath's remarks a lie. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy remarks on Hindu deities sparks a massive controversy. BJP calls out Congress's habitual insult of Hindu sentiments. Major speculations over Jharkhand. Chief Ministers meet with the Prime Minister. Congress calls for a key meeting in Jharkhand on 4th of December. Amid Karnataka power tussle, Siddaramaiah meets Congress High Command, says will step down if ordered by Rahul. It's the most extensive coverage on the Modi-Putin meeting in Delhi. Republic Sputnik ahead on live updates. Rupee falls to record low, crosses 90 against the dollar. Start the edition with the latest coming in over Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's comment, where he's claimed that the country's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru had sought public funds to build the Babri Masjid, but Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel prevented the plan from going ahead. Union Minister made the claims while addressing a unity march in Gujarat to commemorate Sardar Patel's 150th birth anniversary. Now, this undoubtedly has sparked a slew of comments coming in from the opposition parties. But first, listen in to what Union Minister Rajnath Singh had to say.
वल्लभ भाई पटेल उदार व्यक्ति भी थे, वे सच्चे अर्थों में सेकुलर थे, पंथ निरपेक्ष थे, वे तुष्टीकरण में विश्वास नहीं करते थे। जब पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करके बाबरी मस्जिद बनवाई जानी चाहिए, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था। मेरे बहन भाई,
has now responded sharply to the comment that has been made by Raksha Mantri over Nehru using public funds for building or trying to rebuild the Babri Masjid. In fact, the masjid, which was basically demolished, the 16th century Mughal mosque, they say that there was an attempt that was basically being made by Nehru to continue funding Babri Masjid.
ये सब डिस्ट्रैक्शन है, असली मुद्दे हैं, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे हैं जिन पे चर्चा होनी चाहिए, जिन पे बात होनी चाहिए। और ये सब रोज ये कुछ ना कुछ डिस्ट्रैक्शन उठा लेते हैं ताकि हम फिर बयान दें, वो बयान दें, और जो असली मुद्दे हैं पब्लिक के वो उस पे कोई चर्चा ना हो।
It's a complete lie by Rajnath Singh ji. We all know that Pandit Nehru and Sardar Patel had a cordial relationship, and Pandit Nehru's logic was very simple: public money should not be spent on any kind of mosque, temple, churches. or gurudwaras. It should be people's contribution. People should contribute and build their beliefs. This thing, not government money should be there. Rajnath Singh ji is stooping to this level. He is spreading a lie. I condemn this kind of lies from Rajnath Singh ji.
सरकार के अंदर है कोई दस्तावेज दे दें. हमारे पास दस्तावेज हैं कि सरदार पटेल ने इनके जो पेरेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, जो विचारधारा है, उस विचारधारा के विरुद्ध जो पत्र लिखा था और उसके अंदर उसको बैन किया था, वो डॉक्यूमेंट्री एविडेंस है. तो ये ऐसी बात मत करें. सरकार के अंदर शामिल लोग अगर इस प्रकार की बातें करेंगे और इस प्रकार का झूठा नैरेटिव देश के अंदर फैलाएंगे तो ये बहुत ही दुखदायी है.
Well, the BJP, in fact, has responded sharply by saying that the Congress party has essentially been lying and trying to hide their policies. In fact, this is what the BJP had to say.
मैं नेहरू जी का एक कोट करता हूं जो उन्होंने दिल्ली में 1959 में नेशनल गैलरी में ये स्पीचेस एट द इनॉग्रेशन ऑफ सेमिनार एंड एग्जीबिशन एंड आर्किटेक्चर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बाय ललित कला अकादमी एंड ऑल इंडिया फाइन आर्ट्स एंड क्राफ्ट न्यू दिल्ली 17 मार्च 1959 17 मार्च 1959 को नेहरू क्या बोलते हैं एक कार्यक्रम में, some of the temples of South India, however, repel me in spite of beauty. I just can't stand. Why? I do not know. Cannot explain that. But they are oppressive. They suppress my spirit. They do not allow me to rise and keep me down in the dark corridors. I like the sun and air. In contrast, he found Taj Mahal as astoundingly beautiful. 17 मार्च 1959 को जवाहरलाल नेहरू क्या लिख रहे हैं? वो कह रहे हैं दक्षिण भारत के मंदिर कितने भी उत्सव मैं डिप्रेस्ड फील करता हूं. मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है कि मुझे डिप्रेशन क्यों लगता है उन कॉरिडोर्स में मूव करते समय. तो इसका अर्थ हुआ कि वहां से लेके और आज तक राम मंदिर के शिलान्यास में न जाना, राम मंदिर की ध्वजा का विरोध करना, बाबरी मस्जिद बनाने का संकल्प लेना. वो एक पुराना गाना था ना, ये रईसी है खानदानी, वो रईसी नहीं, ये कहानी है खानदानी.
Getting in some more breaking news now, coming in from Chhattisgarh, where 7 Maoists were eliminated in a joint anti-Maoist operation that was conducted by the DRG Dantewada, BJP, STF, CRPF and the Cobra teams. This is in the West Bastar division along the Bijapur-Dantewada inter-district border, where 2 Jawans, we have been told, have lost their lives in the line of duty and one was injured during the encounter. Let me just quickly take you through some of the details of the operation that was carried out earlier today. In fact, we have just got details from the DRG Dantewada, Superintendent of Police, now confirming that during the operation, intermittent firing that took place between the police forces as well as Maoists that continued till about 9 o'clock this morning. And a confirmation also coming in from the IGP Bastar range, Sundaraj, who's basically confirmed now the dead bodies of 7 Maoists have been recovered from the encounter site, and along with it SLR rifles, .303 rifles and other arms and ammunition have also been seized from the spot. Let me go across to my colleague Bharat, who's joining us from Bijapur, getting us the latest details. Bharat, सबसे पहले ये बताइए कि इस पूरे ऑपरेशन को लेकर ये कब शुरू हुआ है और अब तक आपके पास क्या जानकारी है ये 7 माओइस्ट के बारे में? We'll try and reconnect with our Bijapur correspondent, getting up the latest details. We do have a confirmation that 7 Maoists have been neutralized here. As far as our Jawans are concerned, at least 2 Jawans, we are being told from the DRG Bijapur, they have also sustained injuries and first aid is basically being provided to them. This is part of a joint operation that was basically carried out by Dantewada Bijapur STF, the CRPF, Cobra teams and the DRG carrying out this entire joint operation. 7 Maoists have been eliminated is what we are being told. SLR rifles as well as
.303 rifles have been recovered. In the last 7 days, remember this is the second big operation that has been carried out by the DRG. In fact, we have just got more visuals of those Jawans who have also sustained injuries. We'll try and go back to the story in a short while from now till the time we get in our Bijapur correspondent. We're getting in some more breaking news now coming in. This is with regards to Indigo Airlines, which has cancelled over 70 flights, including those from Bengaluru as well as Mumbai airports. So this is mainly due to crew shortages. Scores of Indigo flights were delayed at various airports as the carrier basically struggled to get the crew for operating its flights. Indigo so far has said that there have been cancellations and some delays that have also taken place. The details that we have with regards to the cancellation over 70 flights due to crew shortages, what we are being told. 38 Indigo flights have already been cancelled from Delhi airport today. Now, all that they've said is that this is because of technical issues and operational requirements. In fact, as far as crew shortages are concerned, what we are picking up is that this has basically happened after the new schedule that has essentially come in, and 35% of Indigo flights that were basically operated on time, that was on 2nd of December. Today we are being told that multiple airports including Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad and Bengaluru have reported over 200 flight cancellations till about this afternoon itself. Now the airline is essentially facing severe pilot shortage ever since the new flight duty time limitation norms became applicable last month, which basically lays out what the airline industry has been saying, more human rostering for the crew, and that is the reason why there's been a massive shortage of pilots, and that is exactly why Indigo is now facing delay and cancellations that have basically led to causing some major issues. Now, as far as a statement from Indigo is concerned, we haven't really heard anything from the airline, but airport officials are only indicating that there was no cabin crew available, so the flight had to be cancelled. Airline is now basically sending crew to different bases to operate the flights, but the shortage is such that things did actually go out of hand today. And as far as Indigo is concerned, it seems that they have had to cancel several others, several flights, including Alliance Air and SpiceJet have also now reported that some cancellations have taken place. So that's the latest details coming in. Let me go across to GP Bajpai, aviation expert joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Bajpai, just for a quick understanding of what led to this cancellations of Indigo Airline, it seems that this is with regards to the FDTL norms that were basically brought in. What exactly are these norms that have been introduced, following which the airline is now facing massive shortages? Mr. Bajpai, if you can hear me. We seem to have lost the line with GP Bajpai. We'll try and reconnect. As we understand, this is because of the flight duty time limitation norms that have been introduced, following which there have been a change in the rostering of the pilots, and this has had a direct impact as far as operations of Indigo is concerned, and multiple airports where we're being told that Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad as well as Bengaluru have all reported flight cancellations. Roughly about 200 flights have been cancelled. These are the latest details, a story that we're going to track very closely. Now, as the clock ticks towards Navy Day on 4th of December, Indian Navy has now put out this video, which has ignited national anticipation with the stirring curtain raiser video titled Forged by the Sea, a cinematic tribute to the unyielding courage as well as unwavering commitment and unparalleled professional excellence of its sailors who safeguard India's vast maritime frontiers while propelling the nation's ascent as a blue water power. Watch this video.
The Indian Navy's journey begins where the land meets the endless blue, where silence has weight and courage has depth. Born of storm, shaped by pressure, forged by the sea. This is a force that stays ready, always. It sharpens its edge every moment, every wave tested, every horizon watched, every second ready. In the unseen depths, on the edge of the storm, they stand guard. The Navy's true power lies in its people. Men and women who carry the ocean in their resolve. And when the moment demands, their discipline becomes action. Their courage becomes command. This is the Indian Navy. Combat ready, cohesive, Atmanirbhar, safeguarding seas for a Viksit, Samriddh Bharat. Indian Navy, forged by the sea.
Russian President Vladimir Putin will be visiting India on 4th or 5th of December to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, one of the biggest outcomes of this visit will certainly be the final approval of a new military agreement that has been called as the Reciprocal Exchange of Logistics Agreement. This agreement will allow Indian warships as well as military aircraft to refuel, restock food and supplies, and also carry out small repairs at Russian ports and air bases. Here's a quick explainer.
Russian President Putin is scheduled to undertake an official state visit to India. This will mark the 23rd India-Russia annual visit, a mechanism established in 2000 that alternates between the two capitals and has continued almost uninterrupted even during periods of global tension. The most concrete deliverable expected from the visit is the final ratification of the Reciprocal Exchange of Logistics Agreement, a pact first proposed in 2019 and initialed in 2021. Under its terms, Indian warships and military aircraft will receive facilitated access to Russian ports and airfields for refueling, replenishment, and minor repairs, while Russian forces will gain similar rights at select Indian facilities. The agreement is especially valuable for India in the Arctic, where Russia maintains an extensive network of bases along the Northern Sea route, and for Russia in the Indian Ocean, where India operates the largest number of forward logistics points among non-Western navies. Unlike the more intrusive Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement that India signed with the United States, RELOS is framed as a purely reciprocal arrangement without automatic basing rights or permanent foreign troop presence, which makes it politically easier to sell to the Indian Parliament and public. Beyond logistics, the two sides are expected to advance several major defense production programs that have been delayed by the Ukraine conflict and sanctions-related payment difficulties. India is seeking additional licensed production of the 11356 M-class guided missile frigates for its navy, with 2 ships already built in Russia and 4 more to be constructed at Goa shipyard with extensive Russian components. Progress is also anticipated on the joint manufacture of Ka-2260 light utility helicopters, where 60 units are to be assembled in India under the Make in India initiative, and on the long-pending acquisition of an additional batch of upgraded Mi-17V5 medium-lift helicopters. The BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, already in service with all the 3 Indian services and now being exported to countries such as the Philippines, is likely to see new orders for its extended range and air-launched variants.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corp was not just another military exercise, but a carefully planned signal about capability and intent along our border with Pakistan. The numbers tell part of the story, with over 20,000 soldiers organized into battle groups that can fight independently, suggesting that the army is moving away from old defensive tactics toward a more aggressive approach that can strike on multiple fronts at once. This is not the army that waits behind borders anymore, but one that is ready to take the fight into enemy territory if provoked. The scenario itself, a cross-border offensive in response to a Pakistani attack, makes clear that India is no longer content with merely defending its borders, but is prepared to hit back hard and fast. What makes Ram Prahar different from past exercises is how everything worked together like a well-oiled machine. Tanks like the T-90S Bhishma and upgraded T-72 with night vision capabilities worked alongside artillery guns like the K-9 Vajra and Pinaka rocket launchers that can hit targets 90 kilometers away. The army showed it could cross deep rivers under fire using special bridge-laying tanks that can set up a 20-meter bridge in less than 4 minutes while enemy guns are firing at them. Special forces were dropped at night from heights of 25,000 feet deep behind enemy lines, showing that Indian forces can strike anywhere, not just at the border. But the real story is not about tanks and guns alone, but about how technology has changed warfare itself. The exercise used drones by the dozens, from surveillance platforms to swarms of 50 kamikaze drones that can attack targets on their own, alongside systems that can jam enemy.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला
The Indian Army has rarely spoken so loudly without uttering a word. And in exercise Ram Prahar, it delivered perhaps its clearest message from the Western Front in recent years, not through speeches or press conferences, but through a powerful demonstration of what it can actually do on the battlefield. What happened in the deserts and plains under Kharga Corp was not just another military exercise, but a carefully planned signal about capability and intent along our border with Pakistan. The numbers tell part of the story, with over 20,000 soldiers organized into battle groups that can fight independently, suggesting that the army is moving away from old defensive tactics toward a more aggressive approach that can strike on multiple fronts at once. This is not the army that waits behind borders anymore, but one that is ready to take the fight into enemy territory if provoked. The scenario itself, a cross-border offensive in response to a Pakistani attack, makes clear that India is no longer content with merely defending its borders, but is prepared to hit back hard and fast. What makes Ram Prahar different from past exercises is how everything worked together like a well-oiled machine. Tanks like the T-90S Bhishma and upgraded T-72 with night vision capabilities worked alongside artillery guns like the K-9 Vajra and Pinaka rocket launchers that can hit targets 90 kilometers away. The army showed it could cross deep rivers under fire using special bridge-laying tanks that can set up a 20-meter bridge in less than 4 minutes while enemy guns are firing at them. Special forces were dropped at night from heights of 25,000 feet deep behind enemy lines, showing that Indian forces can strike anywhere, not just at the border. But the real story is not about tanks and guns alone, but about how technology has changed warfare itself. The exercise used drones by the dozens, from surveillance platforms to swarms of 50 kamikaze drones that can attack targets on their own, alongside systems that can jam enemy drones and shoot them down. The time between spotting an enemy target and firing at it was reduced to just 5 minutes using computers and artificial intelligence that help commanders make faster decisions. Electronic warfare units jammed enemy communications across multiple frequencies while keeping Indian networks secure, and cyber teams practiced attacking enemy command centers digitally. Modern war is no longer just about who has more soldiers or bigger guns, but about who controls the invisible world of communications, satellites, and computer networks. The army demonstrated it could move, strike hard, and hold ground inside enemy territory within 72 to 96 hours, showing a strategy built on speed and shock rather than slow, grinding advances. This matters because in today's world, with television cameras and international pressure, military victories must come quickly before diplomacy forces everyone to stop. It reflects lessons from recent conflicts, where hesitation costs more than decisive action, and where the side that acts fastest often wins, regardless of overall strength. Equally important is that most of the equipment used was made in India, from Dhanush howitzers to indigenous bridges to homegrown kamikaze drones. This means India can fight a sustained war without depending on foreign suppliers who might refuse to send spare parts or ammunition during a crisis. The presence of some imported systems like Apache helicopters alongside Indian equipment shows a practical approach that uses the best available technology while building our own industrial base. When Western Command leadership validated that Kharga Corp can launch high-speed armored attacks across rivers, forests and cities in all kinds of combat conditions, it was more than just approval, but confirmation that plans on paper have become battlefield reality. The exercise sends an unmistakable message that anyone planning aggression along our western border should understand the consequences have changed fundamentally. Any future attack will not be met with patient restraint, but with immediate, crushing force designed to inflict unacceptable damage before the aggressor can even fully mobilize. In an age where actions speak louder than words, where military strength must be demonstrated, not just claimed, the Indian Army chose to show rather than tell. It displayed an offensive capability built on indigenous technology, networked warfare, and the ability to strike deep and fast. The message to Pakistan and to the world is crystal clear. India is no longer a reactive power satisfied with defending its borders, but a nation ready and able to punish aggression with overwhelming force. Exercise Ram Prahar was not just a military drill, but a declaration of strategic intent. And perhaps the most important aspect is that it required no accompanying explanation because the capabilities on display spoke for themselves.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो।
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend, on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Avasthi. Let's get started with the 6 stories that have set the agenda today. Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister Modi will be greeting Russian President Vladimir Putin with a warm namaste at Hyderabad House. The leaders will hold delegation-level talks focusing on defense deal, energy cooperation and expanding trade to nearly $100 billion by 2030. What is the inside scoop? We'll get you all that. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, meanwhile, says that it was Jawaharlal Nehru who wanted to use your, mine and every other taxpayer's money to rebuild the Babri Masjid, and this has ignited a huge political storm. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, meanwhile, is back with his Sanatan slander, sparking outrage by asking, are there 3 crore gods in Hinduism? While defending ideological diversity in the Congress party. The BJP workers have then burnt his effigy in Hyderabad, and union ministers have demanded an unconditional apology for insulting Hindu faith. Jamaat-e-Ulama-e-Hind chief Maulana Mahmood Madani declares jihad is sacred and it must be taught in schools. And the person backing him, ladies and gentlemen, and reiterating this remark is no other than a sitting member of parliament from the Samajwadi Party. Also, after the truce meetings, Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar are holding parallel meetings with the Congress High Command. It looks like all is still not well in Karnataka. And another heated debate in Parliament was on the Sanchar Sati app after the massive backlash. The government has now rolled back the clause. What does it mean for you? We'll get you all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, we start our edition with the first focus story that we are tracking that has set the national agenda. A historic handshake of friendship. A decades-old bond about to get a fresh glow. India is rolling out the red carpet as Russian President Vladimir Putin arrives tomorrow for his first state visit since the Ukraine war began. From a private dinner by the Prime Minister to a packed strategic agenda, the India defense ties are set for a major reset. Here's all that you need to know about the major handshake that's going to happen in the national capital tomorrow.
Old partners India and Russia are gearing up for a new, upgraded chapter as Vladimir Putin touches down in New Delhi tomorrow. Putin will be welcomed with a private dinner hosted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a rare gesture signaling warmth and trust at the very top. On December 5th, the Russian president will receive a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan, followed by bilateral talks at Hyderabad House, where the real business begins. High on the agenda, a labour mobility pact that will open doors for Indian professionals in Russia's construction, healthcare and hospitality sectors. Both sides are also pushing hard to expand trade, from oil payment mechanisms to securing long-term supply lines amid Western sanctions. Moscow has openly said it admires India's sovereignty and wants to shield bilateral trade from third country pressure. A potential free trade agreement with the Eurasian Economic Union is moving forward, and both leaders are expected to discuss boosting India's exports into the Russian market, a key priority for New Delhi. Defense ties, the backbone of India-Russia cooperation, will dominate the talks. The S-400 missile system, Sukhoi 57 fighter jets, and long-pending joint projects are all on the table, as Moscow looks to deepen strategic military engagement with India. Also expected is a major push on civil nuclear energy, including Russian small modular reactors and the completion of ongoing nuclear plants in India. The two leaders will head to Bharat Mandapam to address business leaders and jointly launch Russia Today's India Operations, a 100-member media bureau entering the Indian market. For India, securing the safe return of its nationals who were enrolled in the Russian military is also expected to be discussed. Putin has also linked this visit to Russia's wider Asia strategy, signaling that Moscow wants its ties with India and China to rise to a quantitatively new level. A private dinner, a grand banquet, big-ticket defense talks, and a roadmap for future trade, technology, and energy. Putin's visit is not just diplomacy. It's a reset, a reaffirmation and a reminder that India-Russia ties continue to carry weight in a changing world. As President Putin arrives tomorrow, all eyes are on New Delhi, where old friends meet again, ready to script their next chapter.
And on to our second top story. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh claim has brought back the Babri debate back in focus. This after he claimed that the country's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, had sought public funds to rebuild the Babri Masjid. But Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel prevented the plan from going ahead. The Union Minister made the claims on Tuesday, that is yesterday, while addressing a unity march in Gujarat to commemorate Sardar Patel's 150th birth anniversary. There are several opposition leaders who countered the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's remarks, saying that the country's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, wanted to rebuild the Babri Masjid using public funds and accused Rajnath Singh of ruling of the BJP of distorting historical facts. Here is how this remark of Rajnath Singh has become the center point of a huge political debate.
In a bombshell claim that has ignited a huge political storm, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has claimed that India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, of wanting to rebuild the Babri Masjid using taxpayer money.
जब पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करके बाबरी मस्जिद बनवाई जानी चाहिए, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था, मेरे बहन भाई.
He said it was a plan that was allegedly thwarted by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
वल्लभ भाई पटेल उदार व्यक्ति भी थे. वे सच्चे अर्थों में सेकुलर थे, पंथ निरपेक्ष थे. वे तुष्टीकरण में विश्वास नहीं करते थे. जब पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करके बाबरी मस्जिद बनवाई जानी चाहिए, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था, मेरे बहन.
In a direct swipe at Nehru's legacy, Defence Minister claimed that the first Prime Minister sought to fund the reconstruction of the Babri Masjid, the site of the 1992 demolition, with public coffers. But it was Patel who stood firm as a true secular, blocking the move to avoid government involvement in religious matters. The remark, made during a Gujarat event honouring Vallabhbhai Patel, has drawn fierce backlash from the Congress, who are calling it a blatant distortion of history.
ये सब डिस्ट्रैक्शन है, असली मुद्दे हैं, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे हैं जिन पे चर्चा होनी चाहिए, जिन पे बात होनी चाहिए. और ये सब रोज ये कुछ ना कुछ डिस्ट्रैक्शन उठा लेते हैं ताकि हम फिर बयान दें, वो बयान दें, और जो असली मुद्दे हैं पब्लिक के, वो कोई उस पे कोई चर्चा ना हो.
Back in Delhi, the Congress camp erupted in outrage, branding Rajnath Singh's words a complete lie with zero historical backing. They point to Nehru's well-documented opposition to state funding for any religious site, including Somnath, arguing it proves the exact opposite of Rajnath's narrative.
It's a complete lie by Rajnath Singh ji. We all know that Pandit Nehru and Sardar Patel had a cordial relationship, and Pandit Nehru's logic was very simple. Public money should not be spent on any kind of mosque, temple, churches or gurudwaras. It should be people's contribution. People should contribute and build their beliefs. This thing, not government money should be there. Rajnath Singh ji is stooping to this level. He is spreading a lie. I condemn this kind of lies from Rajnath Singh ji.
सरकार के अंदर है, कोई दस्तावेज दे दें. हमारे पास दस्तावेज हैं कि सरदार पटेल ने इनके जो पेरेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, जो विचारधारा है, उस विचारधारा के विरुद्ध जो पत्र लिखा था और उसके अंदर उसको बैन किया था, वो डॉक्यूमेंट्री एविडेंस है. तो ये ऐसी बात मत करें. सरकार के अंदर शामिल लोग अगर इस प्रकार की बातें करेंगे और इस प्रकार का झूठा नैरेटिव देश के अंदर फैलाएंगे तो बहुत ही दुखदायी है.
This statement isn't just rhetoric, it's timed. Just days before the anniversary of the Babri demolition, stirring old wounds in the heart of Ayodhya's political narrative.
17 मार्च 1959 को नेहरू क्या बोलते हैं एक कार्यक्रम में? Some of the temples of South India, however, repel me in spite of beauty. I just can't stand. Why? I do not know. Cannot explain that. But they are oppressive. They suppress my spirit. They do not allow me to rise and keep me down in the dark corridors. I like the sun and air. In contrast, he found Taj Mahal as astoundingly beautiful.
As Gujarat's Rashtriya Ekta Yatra marches on, this Nehru-Patel-Babri clash underscores the BJP's strategy to reclaim Patel's legacy ahead of key anniversaries. The Congress has vowed to counter with facts, but the damage, that's the real background.
At the Telangana Pradesh Congress Committee Executive Meeting, Chief Minister Revanth Reddy sparked a massive controversy by rhetorically questioning to vast of the Hindu deities to underscore the diversity with his party, asking how many gods are there in Hinduism, how many deities are there, and are there 3 crore deities in Hinduism? Now he elaborated with examples like that of Hanuman for the unmarried gods, for those remarrying or drinking alcohol, and religion figures who receive offerings of alcohol, chicken, rice, etc., urging the Congress members to embrace such ideological variety just as Hinduism accommodates all. Now, the anti-Hindu slander by the Congress Neta hasn't gone down well for him. Here's why.
The Congress party is yet again facing backlash for another controversial remark. First on the Indian Army and now on Hindu religion. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's controversial comments on Hindu gods have ignited a fierce backlash, with the BJP and Hindu organizations accusing the Congress of hurting religious sentiments. At a TPCC executive meeting, Revanth Reddy said that Hindus have over 3 crore gods, each for different purposes.
హిందువులలో ఎన్ని దేవతలు ఉండ్రు ఎంతమంది దేవుళ్ళు 3 కోట్లు ఉండ్రా ఎందుకున్నాయి పెళ్లి చేసుకోవడానికి హనుమంతుడు ఉన్నాడు 2 పెళ్లిళ్ళు చేసుకునేటోనికి ఇంకొక ఆయన దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు మందు తాగేటోళ్ళకి ఓ దేవుడు ఉన్నాడు ఎల్లమ్మ పోచమ్మ మైసమ్మ కళ్ళు కొయ్యాలి కోడి కొయ్యాలి అనేటోళ్ళకు ఉండ్రు పప్పన్నం తినేటోళ్ళకు కూడా దేవుడు ఉండు అవునా అన్ని రకాల దేవుళ్ళు ఉన్నారు.
The comments triggered instant outrage, with the BJP calling them insulting, derogatory, and an attack on the Hindu faith.
देखिए, मौलाना मदनी हो या कांग्रेस पार्टी हो, दोनों के स्वर आज एक नजर आ रहे हैं. मैं तो धिक्कार शब्द से शुरू करूंगा कांग्रेस के लिए कि जिस प्रकार के शब्दों का प्रयोग तेलंगाना के मुख्यमंत्री कांग्रेस के एटीएम रेवंत रेड्डी जी ने कहा है आज हिंदू देवी देवताओं के लिए, ये न केवल आपत्तिजनक है, ये घृणक है.
देखिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी एक मुहिम चला रखा है हिंदुओं के खिलाफ, और जो भी इस तरह की बात बोलेगा ना वो भारत के संविधान में भरोसा रखता हो, ना वो भारत की संस्कृति से वास्ता रखता हो. वो कहीं न कहीं उसका इमोशन आक्रांताओं से, मुगल आक्रांताओं से जुड़ा रहा हो, वही व्यक्ति ऐसा बोल सकता है.
Meanwhile, Vishwa Hindu Raksha Parishad has also voiced their condemnation of Revanth Reddy's comments.
CM Revanth Reddy's derogatory remarks on Hindu gods and goddesses is absolutely unacceptable by all the Hindu fraternity in our country. A CM who holds a constitutional post should have a basic sense of what to talk and what not to talk. What kind of remarks can ignite and the belief system of our country. And mocking Hanuman ji today means he's mocking the soul of our nation. He's mocking the very belief system of Sanatana Dharma. He is mocking the civilizational strength of our nation. our heritage, our culture? Does he actually has any kind of guts to address the same kind of an ideology or the free speech, what we call it as? When we say free speech, can he address the same kind of version to any of other religious heads or their gods? We demand an unending apology from the Chief Minister, who has heard the sentiments of several Hindus of this nation or across the globe.
Congress leaders are in damage control mode, insisting that Revanth Reddy's words were misunderstood.
In a party meeting at Gandhi Bhavan, addressing the cadre, he said that Congress is existing from the last 140 years. There are so many leaders who leads the state units, so there are followers who follow different leaders. So he has compared that with the Hindu following the gods, multiple gods. So he compared that, talking about our own political party, how it existed and why the other political parties haven't existed for 140 years. But the BJP is taking it the other way in the state of Telangana and trying to polarize, trying to again use the caste and gods into the politics. But Revanth Reddy's ultimate thing, what he said, is not to hurt anybody's sentiments.
The political controversy shows no signs of cooling down, as Revanth Reddy's remarks on Hindu deities have sparked widespread outrage, leading BJP to criticize the Congress-led government in Telangana.
Maulana Mahmood Madani, president of Jamiat Ulama-e-Hind, ignited a national controversy, declaring that jihad is sacred and that it must be taught in schools to dispel widespread misconception linking it to terrorism, emphasizing that concept exists in all religion and that it should be explained, including its types, conditions, and who can undertake it. Now, as the opposite of violence, he calls it, what followed the statement was worse. A sitting member of parliament of the Samajwadi Party almost parroting what the Jamaat Ulama-e-Hind chief said. Here is how this has ignited a huge political debate.
A fresh storm has erupted. Maulana Mahmood Madani has done it again, calling jihad sacred and insisting it must be taught in schools. Madani says the term has been twisted and accuses political leaders and Sanatan voices of equating jihad with terrorism. In an interview, he doubled down, claiming jihad is vital for the nation and must be introduced in school education to teach its true meaning. But when Republic confronted him on his controversial pitch, Madani evaded the question, dodging every direct query.
सर आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जो है जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए सर, आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में जिहाद पढ़ाना चाहिए सर, आपसे स्टेटमेंट सर आपकी जो राय है उसी की बात करना चाह रहे हैं सर आपकी जो राय है आप कह रहे हैं सर स्कूलों में एक सेकेंड
This comes amid heated debate over Al-Falah University case and his earlier warning of whenever injustice occurs, there will be jihad. Adding fuel to the escalating row, Congress MP Imran Masood backed the idea of teaching jihad, saying jihad is a term that should be taught. It is for the country and for the nation. The controversy deepened further in Parliament, with Samajwadi Party MP Mohibullah Nadwi declaring in Lok Sabha that injustice being done to Muslims means jihad will have to be done.
जिनके पुरखों ने आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ी थी, मौलाना अरशद मदनी, वो कह रहे हैं कि जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ लड़ना शायद हमें दोबारा लड़ना पड़ेगा और जिहाद करना पड़ेगा। आखिर कब तक मुसलमानों को इस तरह से दबाया जाता रहेगा मुल्क में? मैडम, एक जुल्म की एक बर्दाश्त होती है और जब बर्दाश्त खत्म हो जाती है तो जुल्म।
धन्यवाद.
But the endorsement triggered a fierce counter-attack from the BJP, with MP Sudhanshu Trivedi accusing Congress of promoting what he called a Muslim League Maoist mentality.
मुस्लिम लीगी माओवादी मानसिकता में कांग्रेस की सीमा तक चली गई है कि एक इस्लामिक धर्मगुरु मौलाना मदनी के द्वारा जिहाद शब्द के बारे में बोले जाने पर कांग्रेस के नेता इमरान मसूद आकर व्याख्या करने लगते हैं। मतलब आपको कौन सी ऐसी गरज पड़ी है कि एक बिल्कुल मजहबी विषय के ऊपर आकर आप उसका बचाव कर रहे हैं.
A remark that has once again triggered national outrage, putting the definition and politics of jihad back in the spotlight.
Now, a day after Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar had put up a grand show of unity at the breakfast meeting, there are fresh political speculations that have begun to fly, where General Secretary K.C. Venugopal was today greeted at the Mangaluru airport with loud chants in support of D.K. Shivakumar. And this, viewers, has once again added fuel to the ongoing power tussle between the Chief Minister and his deputy. Take a look at what happened today.
The Karnataka tussle has once again caught the viewers' attention. From past few days, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar have met each other 2 times for the breakfast meet. Following the meet, both leaders expressed positive views on it, but hours later he gave a cryptic message. Siddaramaiah said that anything can happen in politics. However, in a significant development, an all-out slogan war erupted at airport when K.C. Venugopal arrived at the Mangaluru airport. Followers of Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar gathered in large numbers and raised slogans demanding he should be made the next Chief Minister. And it did not stop here. Supporters surrounded Venugopal's cars, chanting DK, DK, and insisting that party leadership elevate Shivakumar. Soon after, as Siddaramaiah landed in the city to attend the Guru Gandhi Dialogue Centenary program, his followers immediately broke into Siddhu Siddhu chants. Meanwhile, D.K. Shivakumar totally brushed aside the political chatter surrounding the slogan raised in his support.
It is the DK is going on last 10 years. Sir. There is not nothing new in it. When people started speaking on Modi, people are speaking on DK. Some people speak on Rahul. Some speak on take Sidhu. There is nothing wrong in it. What is there? With their love and affection, they speak. We should take it in a very sportive way.
Now, with the competing chants, public displays of strength and internal jibes, is Karnataka witnessing mere political posturing, or is the power struggle out in open once again?
And the last story of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, usually debates over digital initiatives inevitably have always ignited a familiar storm, beginning with the earnest concerns among people about the user rights and the privacy before devolving into the app. Now, the latest flashpoint in this regard is the Sanchar Sati app, a government-backed cybersecurity tool that has been launched this year, in fact, in the year of January, to combat the telecom fraud by verifying there are certain devices, numbers, and even blocking or lost stolen phones. They have also been responsible in flagging suspicious connections. After the backlash that was raised by the opposition's flagging security concerns, the government has now rolled back a certain clause saying that this app is certainly not mandatory for all the viewers. Here is why it matters to you.
Controversy over the Sanchar Sati app continues to escalate as the opposition fearmongers over privacy breach. The government recently introduced the app as a security and awareness platform whose purpose is to help mobile users manage their digital identity. The app promises to protect users and tracking misuse of mobile numbers and prevent fraudulent SIMs. The government pointed out that it's essential to fight cybercrime, stop fraud calls, block suspicious apps, and help track lost or stolen phones.
संचार साथी एक ऐसा ऐप है जिसके आधार पर जन भागीदारी के आधार पर आज देश की एक एक जनता और नागरिक अपने आप को सुरक्षित रख सकता है फ्रॉड से, स्टोलन मोबाइल से, अपने स्टोलन मोबाइल को रिकॉर्ड कर सकता है, रिपोर्ट कर सकता है। पर इसकी सफलता का श्रेय अगर किसी को जाता है तो जनता को जाता है सर, क्योंकि उनके उपयोग के आधार पर ही हम लोग सफल हो पाए।
ऑपोजिशन ये जो इशू ढूंढ करके लाने का आवश्यकता नहीं है,
विंटर सेशन पार्लियामेंट में बिजनेस तय किया गया है। बहुत सारा मुद्दे हैं और कई मुद्दे जो अपोजिशन ने भी उठाया है, उस पर हम बातचीत करके आगे क्या करना है इसमें विचार करेंगे। नए नए मुद्दे ढूंढ करके पार्लियामेंट को डिस्टर्ब करने के लिए बहाना बनाने का कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। हर मुद्दे अपने जगह में इम्पोर्टेंट है, लेकिन मुद्दे को आप हथियार बना करके पार्लियामेंट को स्टॉल करेंगे, ये तो ठीक नहीं है।
But the opposition is still pressing on the security concerns, where today the Congress asked for a formal discussion in the upper house. In a notice to Parliament, Congress stated some of the privacy and security concerns linked to the directive.
पहली बात तो आपने आदेश में लिखा है कि ये डिलीट नहीं हो सकती, पर मान लीजिए कि डिलीट हो सकती है, तो भैया फिर आप अपलोड क्यों कर रहे हो? जबरदस्ती अपलोड क्यों कर रहे हो? अगर किसी को वो डाउनलोड करनी होगी तो वो ऐप स्टोर पर जाकर डाउनलोड